Anyway,
So,
so
during our last long rest,
during our last long rest, yeah,
our unnamed group of adventurers found themselves in the depths of the Cathedral of Dawn.
Why is Nathan sub-muted?
So I think someone's muted him, so he wouldn't repeat everything I'm saying. Anyway.
yep. I got stop being silly.
So, as our group ventured into the depths of the Cathedral of Dawn, hoping to be able to push forward and stop Lucien from being able to fulfilling this ritual that was being cast. In the much standard fashion that our group has slowly developed and taken on and basically turned into part of their personality, they're thought to be able to put an end to this ritual that was being formed by the cult known as the Sacred Flame. Wasn't to look around for information or any hidden entrances or any way of maybe subjugating this in a more sneaky manner. We have slowly developed a cause of through the front door, no shit taken, we run it. And it's currently been working out for them pretty well to this extent. As our group kind of ventured into the Cathedral of Dawn, and some of the acolytes of the Sacred Flame were there to try and stop them, the fight ensued between a couple of the members of the acolytes in our group, which they managed to wipe out generally without having to spend too many of their resources, eventually led to a tunnel that led further underground to what was probably a very known and acknowledged crypt of maybe holy figures or leaders of the cathedral of once old that all lined the walls of this catacomb, filled with these ever-burning candles and regalia that decorated the room in a very sophisticated and holy manner, representing all gods from the pantheon of the Novum. However, in the distance, something that perhaps could be seen as desecrating was beginning to form, as these two statues, formed of brass with the iconography of two hands cupping a small ember, almost protecting it from distant winds, were granting this kind of small sun energy. It was feeding it, and something was being formed out of it, whether it was trying to summon something forward, or maybe it was garnering power for the wielders that we now know as Thera and Lucien. Unknown. However, they were blocked by Lucien, who was trying to oversee the ritual and make sure that it goes underway perfectly fine, and a fight ensued between our adventurers and Lucien. The fight was a difficult one in a lot of senses. Lucien, although outnumbered 1-7, was still able to stand toe-to-toe with every single one of them and actually take down a couple of them as well. He seems far more powerful than they thought, but their main goal was to disrupt this ritual no matter what. So, with some actual smart thinking, Hjalgron, the muscle of the group, ran up to the gate within seconds and began pulling at it and tearing at it. Eventually, after a round's worth of combat, he managed to break open a hole through which some of the more slimmer members could go through and disrupt the ritual, which, after several rounds of combat and enduring some blaring heat and pressure from Lucien, they managed to accomplish successfully, destroying one of the brass statues completely from a shatter from Celwydd, and the other one being pinged off of its pedestal and knocked out of this kind of range to be able to feed this ritual energy from a keen arrow from the quiver of Pierce. Now, after the ritual was disrupted, Lucien had it said that he was not going to let these people leave out of here alive, and if it wasn't for Versa arriving a couple of seconds later, that might have been the case. Versa arrived on time, and although he is not one to seek out combat and he does not enjoy confrontation in that sense, instead he put forward an ability that he spoke to the party members before. He was told, or he told the party, should I say, that he was granted an item called the Commandment, a sacred weapon from Solon, but this one was a bit different. It didn't yield powers of battle, it yielded powers to stop it. He invoked the Commandment of Restraint and Peace, which put Lucien at a complete standstill, giving the rest of the party members enough time to leave the cathedral and back into the streets of the town, where Lucien could not follow them any longer, although unless he wanted to start a full-out blown war with the tiny queens, military, which would be a bad idea. So, after stopping the ritual and leaving Lucien behind and hopefully putting an end to what could have been a disaster, our adventurers then managed to return to the Autumn Leaf, a tavern where they spoke with Versa. Versa was distraught in turmoil with two inner feelings of betraying his family for people that he only met maybe 2 weeks ago and only formed a small connection through a short adventure that they went on. But he almost felt like these people showed them more of the world and what it's like to be who he wants to be than he spent his entire time with his family. He realized that and began speaking to the group that he thinks that Solon has two kindred spirits. One that is being fueled by some sort of corrupted wood. It's being fed by a dark energy from people, sacrificing innocence of young people to try and feed into it. And he believes that there's another side, one of true light, that blesses this world with sun. And he truly now, to this day, believes that that is how he will solve all of these problems, and that eventually he will be able to bring about a time of peace with Solon. But it is yet to see whether that remains true or not. After discussing some deep ancient lore of information of the beginning of Solon and who he was, and possibly revealing that the sun may or may not be real, our group began narrowing down on a more material objective. They mentioned that, obviously, they have Glinters around the corner, just over a month away. They have a parole where they still need to go and capture a leader from the Humming Wings that has been causing issues in Dahlia's Divide and some of the merchant routes to make sure that Hjalgron and Eldrith are no longer kept on parole. And then after that, there are a couple of other things that they each wanted to do, one of them being Ambrose speaking to a woman they'd met here called Autumn, who may or may not be the daughter of an old acquaintance of him, who he somehow fears or maybe doesn't want to be seen by through whatever means. Ambrose later divulged to the party that he was a vampire that belonged to a group that work behind the scenes from the shadows and have their kind of attachments to a lot of noble families and work from behind the scenes to manipulate things in ways that suit them best. And that it is an entire organization of vampires that have been basically destroying a lot of their civilization, or I suppose manipulating in a way that suits them best. After all of these grandiose revelations and sitting in the tavern, I believe it ended with Ambrose saying that he was going to head out to meet Autumn in the place that he was going to meet her with, and the rest of the party still being sat in the Autumn Leaf with Versa. So,
I think because it was still kind of like only getting into the afternoon, what I was going to do instead was head up and take my long rest now. So that I may stay up through the night, like a creature of the night.
Oh my god.
yeah, so if you want to retire yourself to a bed and take your long rest now, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Now he can be his true self.
Now you can see him in his true form.
Very well. Let's go over
They
to
were
Dawn.
always so
I might take a long rest now as well.
Okay, that means you'll be awake
Well-
throughout the night.
I'm going to bid you all an early one. I'm sure this is all very interesting news for you to mull over. Please nobody consider staking me during my afternoon nap.
I'll consider
Wouldn't
it.
dream of it.
See, I have a little bit of a plan, and I'm going to meet with Autumn tonight and see if I can perhaps gain some information and maybe gain some of her trust as well, as tough as that might be.
I'm sure you have your ways.
Actually, Hjalgron and Pierce, I don't suppose the
Yeah.
two of you could be up just before dawn and near the tavern where my window is, just in case. She might do a run at with something important, and he trails his hands over the necklace. I have a plan.
Can do.
All good. Then I shall see you at dawn. He sort of stands up, gives everyone a sort of head bow, and thank you again, all of you, for being so accepting, strangely.
Give a shrug.
Yeah.
Under his breath as he's walking away, he said, honestly, I expected a little more drama.
Back. There was a flower
Bit
delivery at my door.
disappointed.
Hjalgron 411, you and I are getting up at dawn. We are going to meet under the window by Ambrose's room in case there is a facial incident with a stabbing.
It's fine. I'll kill him if anything happens. I won't do that to Ambrose. Yet.
Yes,
Exactly.
we shall wait.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, since it's only roughly about maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, is there anything you guys would
Stand up
like?
then?
Yes, I would like to carry on the conversation with Verson.
Okay. Yep. You are all around the tavern, so yeah, feel free to. He hasn't gone anywhere yet, so.
Versa, I am somewhat worried for your sister.
He kind of smiles a bit and says, "You're gonna have to be a bit more specific."
Well, I'm pretty sure my friend here handed you that note.
Yes, the one from Regulus.
The last line, it seems more of a they're using her magic, not a well, it doesn't even say magic, it says arcana.
Pyromancers kind of have to burn their arcana within their body to be able to use magic, which is why we don't live very long.
So they're using your sister's life.
Well, I suppose you can't say they're using. She is willingly acting for this cause out of her own volition. So I wouldn't say they're using her as much as she is willingly doing so. But yes, every time that she casts a spell, every time that she enforces any form of magic onto this world, it burns her. I suppose to make it simple for you, Hjalgron, it's almost like someone burning away your veins and your nervous system. Eventually, there's going to be nothing left.
I'm guessing what your healing abilities. I look around at anyone else who can do set healing. I wouldn't be able to fix that, right?
It delays it. I've been able to mend her a couple of times and help her, but the damage is permanent.
Well, hopefully we can convince her to be on our side. Or at least your side.
That would be nice. I'd rather not have to face off against both of my siblings.
After all, within that first meeting, I think there's some doubt.
I'm not sure. Her face is hard to read.
Yet
Sure.
I read it nonetheless. There's a sadness that she has, for the things that she does.
I've always seen it as pity, seeing other people as weaker than her.
Maybe. But, regardless, there's still a sadness within those eyes.
I hope you're right, Hjalgron. In an ideal world, I wouldn't have to face off against either of my siblings.
Well, all you have to do is convince her.
It's easier said than done.
And you convinced us. It's no short task.
Maybe. I mean, I'll try, but I believe it might fall on deaf ears.
Maybe so. But at least knowing that you tried, better than knowing that you could have maybe changed that outcome.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way.
What a wild day, hmm?
Yeah, I suppose so. It's one way to have a birthday. He looks at Celwydd.
I mean, it's been a birthday to remember. It's been the most exciting birthday I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Still need to give you training on your hand axe.
Oh, I'd love to. We could find a big tree and throw it.
Sure. I mean, we're not doing anything now. I suppose we can try.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've regained a bit of energy since we had a bit more to eat. I'm down to try that.
Look at Versa. Would you like to join us? Put your arms in shape.
I don't think I'll be needing that. Instead I might, and he looks to Syldia, if it's okay, borrow the brass statue that you have. Look over it a bit.
Oh. I'll hand it over.
And he takes it. I won't go anywhere. I'll just maybe go to a room or somewhere a bit more quiet and see what I can find.
If you want, I can bring you some tea whilst you're working on that.
That'd be wonderful, actually.
What kind of tea would you like? I could do golden honey, mern tea, cherry blossom tea, many options.
Wait, you have golden honey tea? All the way over here?
Oh, sheesh.
Yes, it's my favorite, so I keep it in stock.
Well, if I may be so bold, then I would love it, Comet.
Of course, I'll make one now. Do I need to make a tea check?
Tea check.
You can make a
That
tea
one.
check if you want to.
Now you
roll
pour it on your
performance.
hand. Ah!
Yeah, I suppose you could roll.
I have proficiency in tea brewing kit.
Oh,
Now, what?
You could roll either performance, well, that uses charisma, or you could roll nature.
Can I just roll tea brewing kit and then use a stat along with it?
Yeah,
It would be
I'll
like
allow that.
using just a kit,
Yeah.
like a herbalism kit. Okay.
Interesting.
Charisma, you say?
oh, jeez.
I'll
What are we
allow
doing
it.
now? Cash money.
And then they'll. So a 13.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I mean, as far as making a cup of tea goes, seems like a pretty solid brew.
Nice.
All right.
I'll give a cup of tea to
Cup of
Versa,
tea.
and I'll enjoy one myself.
After brewing it for a while and kind of finding yourselves a quieter place that isn't maybe in the middle of this tavern, he also enjoys a sip of the tea, and you can see his face light up as he kind of takes the first sip. And yeah, if you would like to spend the time with Versa, just, whether that be looking over him or just, being with him whilst he kind of communes or whatever, then you're more than welcome to.
I shall.
The
We hang out
increase
with a
versus
homie.
approval does not end here.
It's like a bar. I should create a tracker, Versa appreciation. Like, increase
Yeah,
or
we
keep
have to
decrease
going.
it.
create one.
Increase
like
it,
a-
decrease it.
He's a Stardew Valley NPC, and I gave him his favorite gift. So he's gone up one
Oh, hell
heart.
yeah.
If you get 10 hearts, he might want to go on a date with you.
Oh, hell yeah. Time to
You want
create
the salad.
Oh no.
Time to create a tracker for, like, appreciation for Versa.
Me when I'm on the way to visit Versa, but the homie's already there with a gold leaf tea.
Golden honey tea, my son.
Yeah, sorry.
Alright, so we got Syldia and Versa, who's going to spend some time kind of looking over the statue, trying to commune, see what he can find to maybe, whether it be find another statue, maybe find, like, the purpose of them, like, what was the goal, whatever it might be. We have Ambrose, who's going to bed early, so he can be awake throughout the night for the meeting. And then we have Hjalgron and Celwydd, who are going to go and do some hand axe throwing just in the outskirts of Dawnstead against some random trees.
Oh, yeah.
What would everyone else like to do? So, Pierce and Doy.
Oh, it's just me and him.
Yeah, well, technically Eldrith as well, but he's currently not available to speak, so yes, just you two. You've got a random day of activities, or you could just, do nothing, chill, do nothing for your downtime. It's entirely up to you.
I just think Eldrith would be with Versa, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, to be fair, that sounds
I
about
could
right.
100% see him wanting to go over that idol as well. And converse with Versa.
Yep, that makes sense. Converser, nice.
I think, as much as I want to look into the humming wings, I am quite damaged right now.
Fair enough.
So I think I'd like to rest.
Just
So
a
me
short
and Doy.
rest?
I
or-
think, yeah, I'll take a short rest,
Okay,
and then I might go out after that.
okay, no problem. Doy, do you want to do anything?
Honestly, I think Doy just needs to go and zen himself or whatever. He hasn't been in nature. That bridge was fucking awful. I really do think he's just gonna actually go spend some time in nature for a little bit, because he also has some learning to do with spells.
Does he want to come with us? Because we're going out into where the trees
We are going out
He could just hang out.
into the woods, yeah.
You know what? Fair enough. Yeah, sure. Why not?
He could just watch and sit next to a bush and touch
Yeah.
grass.
I think he just wants to
Every so
chill.
often, just
Yeah.
do a thunk. Thunk.
Yeah, sounds
Then
good.
Pierce will be for a short rest at the corner in the booth where we all were gathered. Taking a short rest, looking over his equipment, and then just chilling.
All right, sounds good. Couple of hours go by as the evening is spent with Syldia, Eldrith, and Versa kind of going over the statue. Maybe some idle chit chat and conversation occurs between the three of them. That maybe might interrupt the concentration of the communing, but he seems to be more happy to have a fun conversation with you guys. And for the rest of you kind of going out hand axe throwing and whatnot, you spend some time kind of like showing Celwydd how to throw the axe, and you can see that when Hjalgron throws it, it leaves probably an 8-inch deep cut into the tree or something, and that's just him casually throwing it. And then Celwydd, a couple of times you may throw yours, maybe the handle hits first, but eventually over a couple of few hits, you begin to manage to actually get some really good hits.
What I'll do as well, when they start to get the hang of it, normal throwing, right, you need a moving target. So, I'm going to run across. I want you to try and hit me.
You want me to aim for you?
Yes.
Roll a crit.
She's just like, sweet.
This is your moment. Roll a crit.
You may roll an attack
Shall I
roll.
roll a... Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll be just running side to side.
Okay, yeah, we'll just use it against your AC.
It's 15, so it's there you go. Nice. It's a shame it was
I
such
called
a
it.
lowish roll, but hey.
Well, yeah, you begin to see him kind of running from side to side. And honestly, when the first time of him actually running, you manage to wait a while, and then you throw the hand axe, and it hits against his shoulder as he's running. It does hit against you, Hjalgron. It basically cuts you and then falls to the ground. It doesn't even impale into your skin. It basically kind of forms a small cut on your shoulder and then just flops onto the ground.
Yeah.
But it hit you.
Perfect spot.
It's impressive. It's impressive enough that it hit a moving target.
I'll pick it up. Very good. Now, bit more in the wind-up. I want you to stick in.
Celwydd's form is like the double hand grip, like behind the head. It's like that kind of form.
holding it
Just
with
the
2 hands and
overhead, like
banging. Yeah.
that's her form. Yeah, she's like celebrating the shit out of that, but she's like, she quickly like looks at your shoulder, like, oh my god, I actually hit you.
You did. Very well. Hopefully next time when you do it, it sinks in. You did a very good first job.
Well, over the course of the
Ah,
next...
well,
like,
I
I
guess
go
had a
to
good-
pat them like I do with everyone else, and I realise, they're a bit small. Kind of with a finger, just like tap tap on the top of the head. Good job.
Just like, well pleased with that. Like,
Yeah. Imagine for the next, like, maybe another hour spent of this, eventually you kind of begin getting the grip of it a lot easier.
It's
and
such
you-
a funny image. Like this big Hjalgron running between trees, like ooh, could you hit me? Ooh. And then she just takes one big wind up and just fucking nails him. With...
Literally.
I can just see like a Nerf bullet hits and just.
Yeah. More shocked that she actually hit you on the first time rather than the
I was
actual
just
damage.
saying,
Like, whoa, wait, hold on.
She didn't miss.
Yeah, literally.
Throws it so hard she does that thing where you hop on one foot a little bit.
But yeah, you enjoy the autumn end afternoon as we are now, I believe, technically in the first month of the winter cycle. I'd have to double check. I'm pretty sure it is. Tabriel, I'm pretty sure that's the first cycle.
Now. Well, but still Tabriel's third, obviously.
Yeah, so you enjoy basically the end of autumn and the start of winter. Somehow the trees around here, these autumn kind of orange-leafed trees, don't actually seem to be dying or like losing their leaves for some reason. The ones around here just kind of stay the same, and the trees aren't withering. Which again, to you, Doi, that's quite nice, and you've experienced these before. Now that I actually think about it, you've been around here before, so. But it's nice to recommune with some nature. Although this city, like you mentioned in the first time that you arrived, Doi, is actually really nice for you because it all feels very natural. It's almost as if the city was built out of nature itself. So it is quite nice to kind of get away from the waves of people. But yeah, you guys enjoy a nice afternoon. P.S. After your relaxation and kind of cleaning up your tools, you feel kind of you got some energy back and you feel a bit back in your stride. You have the afternoon kind of like 6-8 o'clock to yourself to, if you want to go around asking about stuff, you can, or it's up to you what you want to do.
I do want to get some insight on what their influence is here. If not the Hummingwings, then I would like to know more about sparrows that are here too.
Okay, how would you like to go about doing that?
I'm already at a tavern. I might as well ask.
Yeah.
See where I can get pointed to.
Okay. You do have Kellen, the owner, the halfling owner. So if you want to, you can speak to him, or you can just speak to random people in the tavern. It's entirely up to you.
Not much gets past a tavern keep here is a lot of things, so let's go there.
Alright.
Kellen it is.
You walk up to the bar, and you can see Kellen on his taller than normal stool, so that he can be at eye height with everyone else when they come to the bar. And he's conversing with a couple of others. His gaze turns to you, and he finishes the conversation with the current patrons and looks to you with a smile. So, luckily Autumn didn't decide to scare you off, did she? I'm glad to see you're back.
No. Still here. Still surviving.
That's good. What can I help you with?
What's the deal with the Hummingwings?
Oh, around these parts? I know that the warden, Corell's got some dick up his ass about it. Mainly because she's causing quite a lot of issue about him. As far as I'm aware, though, they're kind of causing some problems for the merchant ships that cross Delia's Divide. So, perhaps they're on their shores, or hiding in the woods nearby?
Is there a report here in town, or is that more towards the Northern Bridge?
I guess it's as good as mine. You know, you could ask Jody. She owns the general shop across the way, and she lost her last merchant wagon. It didn't arrive on time, and it turns out that the last person that survived it and actually ran to Dawnstead for 2 days told her about these hummingbirds, and that's kind of how this entire thing started spreading like wildfire. So maybe speak to Jody about it. She might be able to offer you a bit more information.
Right. Thanks for that.
Yeah, of course.
And I will go find Jody.
Right. You walk out into the kind of stone streets, and you kind of look around. A couple of crowds. Some people like they've got a busker kind of bar that's set up a small little hat and his large cello, and he's just kind of playing some strings. And a couple of people are like dancing around in the middle of the street amongst all of the oil lanterns and lampposts. And this kind of winter's day, people are starting to wrap up a bit more. Across the way, you can spot quite easily a sign that says Jody's Goods. And you are obviously naturally inclined to believe that this must be the store he's talking about.
Yep, let's get in there.
Yeah, you walk in. Quiet at this time. No one's really doing any general shopping at about 6-7 o'clock, so not many people here. So you walk inside, the bell shop rings at the top, and you look across. Jody appears to be a dragonborn woman. She has these kind of red fading into pinkish scales, which tends to happen with age. The color like begins to die off a bit. And she's got these very timid backwards kind of small horns and these large open ruby-like eyes. And she looks over to you. I wasn't expecting customers this late into the day.
Sorry to intrude.
Oh, please, have a look around.
What's around this shop, actually? Is this more of a general store?
Yeah, it's a general store. You can find general kind of like goods, like food, small rations, even actually some decent like adventurous equipment. You can find like some torches, backpacks, ropes, pistons, pickaxes, shovels, and kind of just a general. It has kind of like a two-side store. It's got like on one side it's got all the foods and produce, and on the other side it's got some like tools and equipment that anyone generally going about their day might need, like hammers and stuff. Not like of the weapon kind, but like the small hammers for like tinkering and stuff like that. So a bit of a mix.
Do I have rope already? I do. Excellent. I'll need that later. Now I'm going to be a very nosy customer. Heard that you've been having trouble with some bandits of late.
Oh, don't get me started. Those humming wings destroyed my last merchant. I was supposed to get a delivery of goods, meat mainly from the woolly bulls over in the other side of the bridge. But they never arrived. I don't really know what the bandits could want with all my meat. Maybe it's more a case of just wanting to be assholes.
You can see her kind of like... She started off with this kind of like very welcoming kind of glow, and now she's a bit... Not annoyed at you by any means, but you can just see kind of like the... She's a bit pissed off that she's lost business from it, and it's annoying her.
Well, me and my group have been tasked into looking into the issue, so... What have you got for information-wise?
Oh, you see a small smile form.
Really? That's good. I've been asking Warden for help for a while. Well,
That's where we got our main informations from, so...
as far as I'm aware, the man that arrived said that his cart got attacked just at the other side of the Novum Bridge. Closer to us, near the shoreline. He said that they struck out of the bushes and set up this weird rope trap. And then all of a sudden these small, almost like black powder explosives started setting off. It destroyed the wheels of the wagon. He managed to run away without being scathed. Sadly, his partner got killed, and the goods, they were taken. By the time the soldiers went a day later to check up on it, all that remained was the destroyed wagon.
How long ago was this?
Maybe a week ago. They must be nearby, as far as I'm aware. But I don't know where they could be hiding amongst all of these places. Reuben, the one that likes escorting ore around from Dawnstead, he gets it delivered, obviously, from the dwarves over in Surrendar. But to get that delivery, it goes over the river. And last it was checked, it's sunk in Delia's Divide nearby the Novum Bridge as well.
What material?
I believe it was escorting high amounts of iron and copper.
Okay, standard stuff. Hmm. You get much news about bird folk around here? Not so much Arakakra, but an assassination group.
Her eyes kind of like widen a bit. She's like,
I'm an assassin group. Not really. We don't really deal with those things around here. Bandits is as far as it goes.
Hmm. As far as I'm aware, she's connected to people that I'm currently looking for personally. But that is very hush-hush.
She forms a smile. You can see her like large, fanged grin, which is supposed to be just kind of like a laugh, but it feels a bit more menacing just because it's actual like fangs. But she kind of lets out a chuckle and looks to you and says,
Well, if you're looking for more information, maybe finding her and asking her yourself might work. Find these bandits, and maybe you can get your next information.
Thanks, smile. Genuine? Well, can I insight check and see if that's a genuine smile?
"Yeah, you can insight check it if you want."
Yeah.
With a 10, even with a 10, you can. It's just the nature of a dragonborn smile. There's nothing macabre about it. It's just, she's just let out a chuckle, but it does feel a bit more toothy and sharp, just simply because it is the more of a dragonborn.
Yep. Cool. Well, I shall leave you be then. We'll get right on this.
Fancy 2 apples for a copper before you leave?
She kind of pulls 2 apples out of a nearby basket.
I need more fruit in my diet. Why not?
She hands you the 2 apples.
Thank you.
And if
I
you
shall have 2 apples.
if you find them, make sure to give them hell. I need to get my merchandise back on the line, eh?
It's our priority.
She waves at you as you give her the copper and leave the shop.
Item name: Apple. Food.
Anywhere else that you'd like to snoop around for some info?
Probably worth asking the guard captain himself.
Oh, the warden?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
you can
warden.
go over to the prison if you want to.
Let's do that.
Alright. You wander over to the edge of the city behind the large Cathedral of Dawn, where you find a kind of rectangular-sized and shaped building that looks kind of like a mix of a prison and a bit of a tower at the same time, with windows barred off with iron bars, and 2 guards at the front of the door that quickly turn to you as you approach the building, not in a fierce manner, but just kind of in an approaching way, and they look to you and say, "Any business?"
I wanted to speak to the warden.
What for?
Trying to help him track down those humming wings.
Oh, you must be part of that group of the people that he sent out the other day. Or was that today?
That's me.
Oh, alright then.
Yesterday.
He kind of like shrugs, just like, alright then, headed.
Thank you.
You walk past him, open the two large iron-ridged doors, and as soon as you walk into the main lobby, you can see Krill, the warden, with his scarred kind of like neck and cheek, look over to you, and there's mountains of paperwork that he's like stamping and signing, and he looks over to you. Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. Just trying to track down some information.
Regarding what?
The humming wings.
Oh. Are you part of that group that I freed earlier today?
That I am.
Oh. That makes sense. Sure. Let's see here. He puts down the piece of paper and the quill that he was holding and, like, passes his hands over his face. Let's see.
I do apologize. How much have you given to them already?
Not that much, really, apart from the fact that they've been hurting merchant lines, destroying stuff by the river. Folk have come to me with all sorts, but it's hard to remember everything. Let's see, and he kind of like pulls out these files and starts flicking through them. And then eventually grabs to one and starts reading these pieces of parchment. Let's see, witnesses, scout routes, okay, let's see. Couple of the shop owners from Dawnstead mentioned that their deliveries have been going missing on our side of the Novum Bridge once they go past it near the shoreline. Only about a day walk away from here or so. And then also a couple of ore deliveries over from Surrendar being interrupted and displayed at the Dahlia's Divide.
Well, they've been displayed.
Yeah, after they destroy the boat, they kind of run it and beat shit down and then cover it with their cloths and their banners. They feel a bit proud about it, I suppose. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's this report here from our scouts that we sent down. A lot of activity seems to be happening near the shoreline of Dahlia's Divide. Once our scout parties got around there, they started noticing small traps being set up amongst the small trees heading down to the shoreline, down the cliff. But we haven't pushed past there. That's all they saw, it seems.
What do you know of the main leader of the group?
Hummingbird. Calculated and annoying. Seems to handle herself pretty well. We've tried capturing her twice, and both times she's managed to either kill off our group that we sent, or get out of the shackles that we put her in. She's quite a slimy bitch.
Typical.
Know anything about them yourself?
I know a fair amount. Been dealing with them, trying to track them down for quite some time.
Right.
Do you know if it goes any higher than her?
I don't think so. Nothing's led me to believe that's the case. I mean, I don't know if your group's going to be able to find Hummingbird herself. But if you could bring me a leader of some kind that we can interrogate, force into questioning, maybe that can start opening up some branches. But we just need something to work with.
Are we in an office?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's an office space, I'd say, easily enough.
Got a door to close?
Well, there's no one in the room with you at the moment, but you can close the door
cool.
behind you if you want to.
Go. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Forget it. This is my speciality. Never been good at gathering information. I'll tell you that now. So, I need some information. Not just on Hummingwing, but higher than her. Is there... I'm gonna play it straight as I come to sit back down. Is there a presence of an assassination group by the name of the Sparrows?
He looks at you and thinks and ponders for a second as he takes a big sigh. Not many people know about the Sparrows. He looks at you, intrigued and questioning, and leaves it at that at the moment as he looks at your response.
It's just stone cold. Just trying to gather raw information.
As far as I'm aware,
So are they around here, or?
As far as I'm aware, we haven't had to deal with any sort of assassinations from Sparrows.
Is there any other sort of group that deals with that sort of stuff, to your knowledge?
A while back, there was a group that weren't assassins per se, but more so thieves that took pride in taking from the rich and then displaying it in museums and stuff like that as a mockery. And we also have very few murderings or assassinations of any kind that could link us to any Sparrows. But then again, I've only been in the military for about 15 years. 8 of that was scouting around and being a guardsman, and the rest of it has been here in Dawnstead looking after it, so my knowledge doesn't spread far enough.
Privy to information. I have been associated with the Sparrows in terms of paperwork, trying to track them down for quite some time. It's been rough after the recent displacement of myself from Syldia.
Of course. I don't know.
But
maybe the group's disbanded.
As far as... Apparently not. For what I know, they're either disbanded or dispersed over here within Kelmont themselves. Hummingbird herself used to be one. Whether she is an ex-member now or still working for them is yet to be seen.
Well, that puts her a bit higher up in her lethality.
Otherwise, you're saying that they are located Northern Bridge, this side.
Towards the shoreline of the river banks is my best bet at the moment. But I can't be certain. From what I figured out from our scout reports and people's general witnesses, that's our best idea. But the cliffs are steep. The ones that run down to the sides of Dahlia's Divide. If they were hiding around there, I don't know where it would be.
Do you keep a record of comings and goings from Dawnstead across the Dover Bridge to Primtia?
No.
Or is that more of a merchant thing?
It's probably more of a merchant side. It would be hard to keep notice of anyone that's past the bridge. Big cities like Primtia take note of whoever enters the city and whoever leaves it, but smaller places like Dawnstead, we just don't have the manpower capacity to do that. Nor do we want to scare people off. This is a free place for people that can roam in and out as they see fit. I guess it scrutinizes the protection side and how safe they are, but at the same time, it gives them freedom.
If they are targeting specifically merchants, not just random Joe Schmo on the street. Is there a way that you could possibly set up a decoy of such that me and my group could follow?
I believe so. It could be done. Could send a carriage empty with nothing in it.
Canvas cover works best.
Could be done. I just don't know whether they would bite or not. All of the shipments that they hit and all of the wagons that they pilfer are done roughly around the same place, and somehow they must know the exact time that those escorts are going to be there. Somehow they have knowledge of the senders and the receivers of each merchant. As to how they're gathering this knowledge, don't know. Possibly we could forge fake transactions between merchants. Maybe they'll bite for that.
As quickly as I put it in your hands, I might take it back off. Around here in Dormstead, near around here, do you know of a stable, or at least a carpenter who sells wagons?
Yeah. The Wainwright just outside of the village. You can probably sell you a wagon or a cart. They're not cheap, though.
Would imagine so. Neither is cheap, being sprung from jail, so. But we'll see if we can get things organized. See if we can clear the names of my fellow compatriots. And we'll go from there. Do you happen to know? Well, it does strike me. Is there a certain time that these incidents take place? Broad daylight, dusk, dawn?
Could be any of them. We've tried daytime deliveries, we've tried nighttime deliveries. But as soon as people have that transaction information of what delivery is meant to go where, they somehow seem to know about it.
Is there a chief of the merchant district? Somebody that everybody reports to?
To each their own. Everyone's in charge of their own transactions.
Interesting. Right. I'll stand up, head back towards the door. I believe I've got all that I have for now.
Very well. Like I said, even if you can't bring in Hummingbird herself, I need some high-end honcho, someone that I can try and interrogate and get information out of. If your group can at least do that and maybe disperse if there is a nearby group of bandits, if you can sort them out, then I could let them off parole for that. But I need at least a good high-end, I don't know what they call them, second hands maybe? If you can't get the
second commands.
If you can't get her, I need at least another name, someone I can interrogate, so we can start moving this issue.
What, besides a person, what are the proof would be proof of her moving along?
I don't know, if they have a settlement or if they have traps or whatever. A location. You could tell me where it is that you found them. If you cleared them out, we can send a scout party to see if it's true. But my main need, and he kind of like puts his index finger to the table as he says this. My main need is I need someone I can interrogate and further pressure. I can't just have some random slacky who's not going to talk and doesn't know anything. I need someone in the command chain.
I can tell you this now. You're not gonna get information from Hummingbird. So, we'll give you the next best thing.
Well, she just needs to be locked up.
It's kind of hard to lock up a blood bearer.
We'll see if once she is chained up, we'll see how well she fares in the chambers of Primtier.
It's the second version of that tower.
Yeah, true. That tower was nutty.
The spire.
Right. The spire. The spire is very cool. Very inspiring. Right. For now, I'll wish you good day.
Very well.
Or good evening, rather.
He gives you a nod and begins picking up the paperwork that he had beforehand and picks up the quill. Dips it into the inkwell and begins signing things off and writing things up.
And then I'll head back, go take my rest. But yeah, I'll go reconvene with the others, either wish.
Cool. Well, as long as anyone doesn't have anything else that they would like to do for this day / end of the day, then we may skip to night time, essentially, where Ambrose will wake up from his afternoon-long nap.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, is everything okay?
What day is it?
No one wants to do anything else for today, correct? We're happy to move?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Alright, very good. Okay, then we shift time as it passes onwards, and we go into probably like 1 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock at night or so. And Ambrose, you may awake whilst everyone else goes to sleep.
Ambrose kind of like stretches a little bit. Oh, okay. Let's see if I know what the fuck I'm doing. And he sort of, steps down from the ceiling where he had been just sort of loosely hanging. And, sort of, he can sort of like, just sort of sleep on the wall of the ceiling. It's just sort of feet firm on the ceiling, arms and hair just hanging down, just like out of it. just climbs down, and opens up his window and looks down into like behind the inn where he said that he was going to meet Autumn.
Yeah. You don't need to roll me a perception check. She's not trying to hide. You could spot a red-headed woman, kind of with her arms crossed, waiting up against one of the nearby walls. You can see her looking left and right, seeing if she can spot you coming.
I will perch on my window ledge, look down. Good evening.
She looks like 10 feet up. What are you doing up there, then?
Well, I sleep here, so I was just getting some rest before I saw you. And sort of just casually strolls down the wall as he does, hands in pockets.
Right.
I'm surprised you came.
Well, you wrote some very intriguing things.
If they were not intriguing, they wouldn't have got your attention. I believe a formal introduction. I am Ambrose. And he sort of holds a hand out properly and bows his head a little bit.
She hesitates. She looks at you and she looks left and right. Fine. I'm Estella.
It's a wonderful name. No. I'm sure that what I wrote on that paper was perhaps jarring, and you wouldn't expect to see someone just casually that may understand the situation. I wish to help.
Them?
I will be frank and upfront with you. I was once. It's been a long time.
And you got out.
I did. I escaped. And I took one with me.
You can see her kind of broken in silence as she looks. That's impossible. No one gets out of the court.
Well, they wouldn't tell you, because otherwise everyone would think that it's possible, and they might try to repeat my success, you see.
How can I know this is true? All that you're saying. This is some sort of wicked setup.
Do you really think that it would take a wicked setup to find yourself at the wrong end of your mother's hands? Any sort of quotation marks?
You can see her kind of hesitating with every word that she mutters. You can almost feel like slight fear whenever like anything is going on. You can tell that she's extremely worried. She kind of looks to you almost like a kid knowing that she's doing the wrong thing. She looks up to you and says, your success story isn't going to be able to repeat itself anyway.
And why is that?
I just don't see how. I've been trying to get away for years. I've given up, actually.
What is your situation? Are you a thrall to her? You can be honest.
She hesitates and maybe sees that she doesn't have enough trust yet, and she looks at you and says, "You just need to know that I'm being kept here against my will. I didn't wish for any of this to happen. And whenever I try and run away, well, let's just say the hound follows in suit. You know that sometimes in your time, Ambrose, that Derwick has been called a hound several times before.
Oh, fuck me, okay. I see. Yes, I'm familiar with him. When you say run away, what are the sort of limits on your freedom? As false as a word that may be.
Normally I'm not really allowed out of the city. I can wander by the nearby woods if I want to sometimes.
Then perhaps we could take a stroll there.
This time, you must be crazy.
Why? What's wrong?
Let's just say this is when they have the most eyes and ears around. They know what I'm like. I haven't tried running away in a few months, but they know what I'm like.
Then... if you think they're going to be watching you, then this might be a little harder than I imagined.
Let's just say I haven't caused the best situation for myself.
No. I imagine you come here at night and drink yourself silly, get yourself arrested, and that way you're locked up for the night. You can't hurt anybody, should the urge come.
You can say her
Am I right?
face go taut as you feel like you've struck pretty much bang on the money, and you can feel her face kind of pull inwards. Pretty much. Being completely drunk is the only thing that makes me feel like I don't need to feed on people.
When I was freshly turned, I also tried to resist. I locked myself away in cabins in the middle of nowhere. I tried to ignore everything around me, all the feelings that I had, and they let me do it. They knew what would happen eventually, and when I did break, it wasn't pretty. But it is possible to change. You see, you don't just need humanoid blood.
Just stop
I
altogether.
myself.
You can see
Yeah, of
in her
course.
eyes like the just absolute withdrawal and the gauntness in her face. You can tell that she's just not had any form of it in probably months, maybe even more longer.
You remind me of myself, way back. But in this state, if you do break, it will be worse than if you simply indulged from the start. So let's not let that happen. Have you tried, perhaps, alternative diets? And he smiles as if he's trying to be a little bit humorous, at least.
Her eyes dart to the ground and she shakes her head. It disgusts me. All of it.
No, it does take a lot of getting used to, but... Did you ever eat a steak, Estella?
Maybe when I was young, I don't know. I forget. My old life, I don't know. Maybe I did. Mum always says I've always been hers, but although that's not true. I'm only stuck to her as some sort of thrall, that's it. I'm no blood-related daughter to her, am I?
No, I very much doubt. But it's a little strange to get used to, but at the end of the day, it's not that much different from just having a very rare piece of meat. You're just skipping out the farmer and the merchants in the middle.
I have an idealistic way of looking at it, Ambrose. It's quite hard from my side.
It's the only way you can look at it, if you want to accept it. It's that, or you go mad.
There's nothing you can even try and do about it. Not even the tethers of ropes are strong enough for our skin. I don't have to breathe, so I can't suffocate. Regeneration alone stops me from snapping my spine. And the drunkenness only wears off quickly, so I have to keep drinking. We're extra resilient, she says, almost kind of like ironically hating it.
No. It can be problematic when you're trying to restrain yourself, but if you look at me, do I look like a man held back by fears and worries of where I'm going to get the next sheep, or perhaps if I'm going to hurt somebody?
She looks at you for like a solid second, that kind of like leaves this tension in the air for a minute in this dark alleyway that kind of breaks with a faint wind whistle. And then she looks at you kind of straight in the eyes and says, no. And I don't know how. Which is why I can't believe it.
I'm trying to help you here as much as I can. You see, a long time ago I was in a very similar situation. Although I was not enthralled, but more under a, we'll say, a veil of confusion and bloodlust, and I had lost myself fully because I gave in, which you haven't. So you've got an advantage. You've got a head start.
Doesn't feel like it.
No, it won't. There is a way, though. And... I'm going to glance around real quick.
Yeah,
Do you know if we're being watched right now?
I imagine if we were, we wouldn't be talking. You can roll a perception check, though, if you wish.
Yes, I shall.
She seems to
These
give
are
off the
dumb
vibe that as far as she's aware, you're not. But
Nice.
9? As far as you're aware, also no.
Oh well, balls to the wall anyway. Well, do you know how a thrall becomes a true vampire?
Not really. I mean, I haven't really been told.
No. Now, if I'm going to tell you, I need you to not make any foolish decisions here, because I'm going to try and help you as best I can, but if you go rushing into things, it won't work. You see, we might have to play this over a longer period, perhaps a month or so.
I'm surprised that it's only a month. It's a blink of an eye.
That's
sometimes.
optimism. To become a true vampire, you simply have to... Well, you have to drink from your master who turned you in the first place.
Can see her face sour. What does that mean? What's the difference?
You'll be stronger, you'll have your free will. You'll still have some of the drawbacks. If you don't drink, you won't be able to go out in the sun. But there are other ways of navigating that one too. I'll show you later, but for now we'll focus on this. Let's just say I have a group here. They're very capable. And I think it's about time I returned to the fold of my old sect, my old court, as it were. But not as one of them. I think I will whittle them away, like pruning an old dead tree.
She kind of looks at you still a bit kind of like bewildered. I've never heard of anyone get away. It still seems so alien to me.
Have they told you stories of the court? How it was before you were probably turned?
Some. But Mother's quite reluctant to talk about a lot of the in-depth ones. I've managed to hear a couple here and there from Derwick when he's off on a tangent, but those tend to be more graphic.
Yes. Quite the madman. Did you hear about his old partner? Lord Barrion, his name was.
Yeah. Mum said that I have to stay away from any creature like him. That he was a disgusting thing.
He was probably the worst of them at his peak. It's a shame that they probably told you he went missing, but a stake through the heart and a swift drowning in a river. That's how he met his end.
I got told that Alabaster himself killed him.
Ah, I see. Claiming the glory for himself, was he? Didn't want it to sound like his little underling tricked him, fooled him, turned his back, and perhaps shivved one of his own in the night.
Speak as if you know.
Lord Alabaster turned me. I had his attention for quite some time. And then when the time was right, I decided I was going to leave, and I took Barrion with me. Wasn't hard.
She kind of looks kind of a bit bewildered by it. Almost, obviously, clearly there's layers to the story, but just how easily you almost like made it sound. She just kind of looks at you like, well, I wish it was that fucking easy for me. She just kind of like looks a bit kind of astonished.
Now, I wasn't acting alone, of course. I had help from an outside source. We'll say a little guardian angel that helped me along the way. And that is exactly what I'm going to do for you. Maybe with the help of my party.
So the same way that you killed Barian, you're going to try and help me kill mine. And she kind of thinks for a second. My mother.
Exactly. Now, I don't imagine there's any love lost there.
She ponders it for a split second, but very quickly snaps to the decision. No.
Good.
She's a heartless bitch at the best of times.
You don't need to tell me. We're going to come up with a plan. Now, if you think over the next month or so, or until we return from our other important dealings, it's something quite catastrophic if we don't deal with it. I just need you to act as you have been for the last however many years. Surely that's not too difficult.
Annoying and hurtful, but yes, I can carry on as I do. It's not like I can do anything else.
But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Something to look forward to, something to hope for. And I bet you've not had that for a long time.
No. They all keep saying that there will come a day where I'm important for something. But I don't know what.
Well, before that day comes, we'll have you free.
She
Something
kind of scoffs
along...
and looks up to the moon and then kind of like, kind of away, still with you, but kind of away as she kind of scoffs. She feels a bit hopeless about it.
Something along the lines of, perhaps, a lovely masquerade ball gone awry. A party of approximately 7, very dashing and beautiful adventurers, all defeating this Helena Fairwood in combat, holding it down until you drain her dry and kill her. Something like that. As simple as I can put it.
I knew that you lot were a bit different when I realized the brawl. Just going in straight to a ball and trying to kill her in the middle of her own home, that seems crazy.
No, it is absolutely madness. It's probably the most insane thing, but we've developed a bit of a knack for practically walking in and just getting things done the dirty way. But this doesn't need to be so brutal. We can at least get quite close and have the element of surprise.
She kind of smiles in a chuckle and she looks up. She loves holding those balls every month, so pick your month, I suppose.
Oh, we all know how Helen loves holding balls.
She can't help but let out a laugh that she almost wanted to hold in. Almost like when a teenager's trying to, like, hold an attitude, and then someone makes him laugh and they try and hold their smile. It's the exact same. And you can see her kind of, like, the corners of her mouth, like, lighten and a small, like, breath as a chuckle comes out.
Anyway. Speaking of, the Hound, he tends to take up residence here too?
Not necessarily, but I've never seen anyone quite as quick as him. As soon as I went missing, it only took him 3 days to find me, and he came all the way from the Winter's Court.
Yes, well, he keeps himself fed more than the rest, I think.
He's a creature. It's no surprise that they call him a hound. He's far more bloodhound than he is person.
Oh no. That I understand. But if it takes him 3 days, then we're hoping he won't be there in time to help. And if he is, well, Derwick is a hound who I've always wondered, if he squeals when he's castrated.
Hopefully we won't have to find out.
That or he deserves a putting down, and it's been a long time coming. So we'll get 2 for 1. So, If you think that it's hopeless, then I understand, but you can't say I'm not giving you a good option here.
She crosses her arms and takes a breath. You can see her chest expand and kind of willow. Well, what fucking alternative do I have, eh?
No, very true. I don't think a chance like this would ever come round again anyway, so you don't really have much of an option, do you? You're going to have to trust in my crazy plan, or, well, jail cells and bar fights for you.
I haven't been able to make many decisions thus far in my life. At least I can make this one. I'll wait around, Ambrose. And I look forward to seeing your gate-crashing party at some point in the horizon.
Oh, you'll know when it's coming. We tend to put on quite a show. In the meantime, do you usually spend your nights alone, unaccompanied? Is there anyone in particular that I might be able to take on the appearance of for a short while?
It's a couple of Helena's second-hand thrones that she keeps around her estate. But generally, I'm left to my, and she kind of does air quotations, my freedom, so to speak.
Well, since you said that you might be watched, it's a bit too risky to spend the entire night wandering. I was going to suggest that we go and perhaps relieve a farmer of too many of his livestock, but that could be a little ridiculous and risky.
Yeah, I think I might have risked too much already here, so...
I was going to ask if you wanted to stick around until dawn.
See the light? You must be mad.
Have I proved to be anything else?
I'd rather not have burns on my skin. I can't step in sunlight.
No. But if you wanted to, I might be able to give you that just temporarily. Just a taste.
She looks at you intrigued. How?
Like I said, there are ways around it. And he just smiles. If you wish to come back here just before dawn, I will still be waiting. If not, I completely understand.
You can see her swallow. She looks to you. I haven't felt sunlight in decades. I'm not missing out on this chance, even if it kills me.
Just try not to get into too much trouble until then.
I think I'll hang out in my usual place. She points to the top of the Cathedral of Dawn at the highest spire.
Oh, that's strange. I also found it quite useful up there.
It's nice and calming and quiet. And although a resident whore lives around these parts, this city is still nice.
Well, if you're going to go and hang out up there, I could accompany you and we can come back here just before dawn. I'll show you what it is, or I can leave you to it. If you prefer your own company, I understand.
I think I'd like you to follow. Tell me a bit more of the court. Your time, if it's not too painful.
I can, but we'll just have to be careful, and I won't go into too much detail, just to be sure.
Maybe you could tell me about who you were.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot to it, but sure. And he's just gonna start, like, hands in pockets, walking.
Very well. With a more maybe convinced and possibly hopeful Autumn, or now known as Estella, you guys go up to the top of the Cathedral of Dawn, and she says that there's a comforting irony about a creature of the dark sitting atop a cathedral of the Novum. She feels a bit ironic at the fact of it, and she enjoys the tether of it. But yeah.
I will also explain to her that we were in said cathedral just this very day, fighting some sun folk.
Somehow hours pass as you kind of divulge maybe just the recent stories that you've been having with the current adventuring group. Maybe she becomes kind of interested in who they are, like how the fuck did you guys come together, and you kind of
distracts with those kind of stories and things like that instead. His life in the last sort of mostly the last couple of months, but also the last sort of 50 years since he was free and roaming around.
Do me a general I guess we can use persuasion technically to kind of like weave the conversation away from like the topics that you don't want to talk about and like more towards the topics that are just like about this current party and the fact that you like cleared out some kobolds and you met this fat lizard who was kind of like more of a
fucking stupid as shit.
More annoying than he was useful or whatever else. And you are, with a 20, you are incredibly successful. And before she knows it, she completely forgets about even asking you about anything to do with the court and who you were. And instead, for hours, there's a couple of like silent briefs, which are like enjoyable silences. Witnessing this place at night is quite a wonder. And seeing
for the most of it, Ambrose will like not like sit near the edges of the rooftop. He will be more like laying down further back so that people looking from like the street level would never be able to sort of see him.
Yeah. You know, you maybe even have like silly conversations of like, do you think that the river myth is true? And you know, you kind of like have these kind of like eventually you kind of have these crossovers of like this novice asking kind of like someone who's clearly been in this for a long time, and she kind of picks at your brain about like several different myths that she's found across the years of like the garlic and crosses and wood stakes and all of that stuff. And yeah, eventually time does kind of very quickly.
Yeah, he will recount a tale of again how he's the one that's by his own hand pushed another vampire into a river, and also he will point out that he's incredibly good at mirror mazes because he knows exactly which ones are mirrors because there's no reflection.
Brilliant. Well, in almost a kind of very typical Ambrose way, you weave in truth with lie and enjoyment and entertainment with kind of maybe a bolstered comedic value to it, and kind of exaggerate some stories about you and your party and kind of like how you took down this keep of goblins and whatnot, and you managed to entertain her for the night really, really easily and kind of avoid the conversations that maybe she initially was intrigued about, and instead actually end up having quite a kind of like a good time about it. And it's probably the first time ever that Estella has had a sober night, which you know has quite a deep thought to it that she kind of realizes as not when it's dawn and the lights are already here, but when you can already start to see the sky beginning to lighten, and it's that very peaceful, perfect early morning, and you can see her kind of look up, and we'll pick up from here as she kind of looks at this small beginning light that's not quite yet coming onto the land, but you can see it coming over the horizon, and she says, "That's the first night I've ever had sober." She smiles, now that she's in a better mood from the regaled and stories, and she looks to you and says, "Thank you."
Always welcome. First night is always the hardest.
And she looks as now the sun's beginning slowly to tether over the horizon, and like lights are beginning to beam over the distant Kelmont
Shit.
Mountains.
We'd better head back to the tavern so I can show you this little magic trick. And that's not something I usually open with, just so you know.
Of course. She smiles and follows you back to the tower, and as vampires, it doesn't take you very long to return back. And you find yourselves back in between the halls, maybe passing a couple of early morning kind of retired old folk that are just looking at some gravestones in the cathedral or doing some really early morning shops or whatever. You pass a couple of them by. Some of them kind of like pull a face at Estella, but some of them look a bit surprised. They're like, wait, she's not fucking like drunk.
She's normal.
Yeah, she's not drunk and like beating someone up this early in the morning. So you get a couple of surprised looks. She kind of has a bit of a laugh about it. And eventually you find yourselves kind of behind the autumn leaf again, as the sun is now kind of pretty much now rising up and light beams are beginning to bathe the land of Equin.
I will point up at the sort of window that I had left ajar from my room and shall we just head inside real quick?
Sure, I'll follow your lead.
And I'm also going to glance around as it's getting close to dawn. Is there any sight anywhere of Pierce or Hjalgron?
You can roll a perception check. Sure.
Who knows? I could be.
And I will also need to know that from Pierce and Hjalgron. Are you guys doing as you said you were going to? Like at the first light of dawn, are you going to be around or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I was told if he needs me. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you do see Hjalgron and Pierce. Would you be there as well? Nathan?
Pierce is fucking dead.
This time I was muted.
He's been pierced.
The other Nathan was muted. Okay, yeah, I'm there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you notice both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, just sort of like glance up at their windows and see them, sort of give them a smile. I will just casually climb up the wall into my own sort of room and hold out a hand to help her up.
Yeah, she doesn't climb up the wall, but she does jump significantly higher than a normal human being can.
Okay.
She kind of like jumps up to the banister and says, well, can't quite stick to walls, but I still have superhuman strength.
No, of course.
I think
And,
it's on reaction of seeing another person enter the room. It's knife, sword drawn.
I think you guys are in the room
it's
above.
not like a shared room. Yeah, it's like my own room.
Yeah, I think you guys are in the room above theirs, just in case. Or next to theirs, should I say.
Yeah, wherever.
Yeah.
As the sort of window, he's going to leave the window open so that as it comes to dawn, the light will stream slightly, like, you know, that kind of line that you get that, like, you know, cracks through the window. And
yeah,
he's going to wait a short while until that light starts to show. All right. Now, given all I've told you tonight and how much of my arm I am reaching out to help you, I'm going to trust you. And I'm going to make sure I'm standing quite far back and slowly take off the necklace that I'm wearing.
Okay. You take off your necklace and that heavy weight hits your shoulders that you remember from way before you started wearing this.
Mm-hmm. I run my sort of thumb over it and we'll hold it out to her. Put this on. And stretch out your hand.
See her hesitate and take a breath. Okay. She grabs the necklace gently and puts it on. And she looks to you almost for like reassurance.
I will like cross my arms and sort of pull like the leather of my fake bandit sort of costume hood over my own head just to be super sure for myself that I'm not in any sort of like danger. Lean against the wall sort of next to the window so that I'm not in the way of it, and just sort of nods to her. Look, at the worst, you'll singe your fingertips.
She brings out her arm, and you can see it slightly trembling, and then her fingertips get close to the ray of light. And then her hand bathes into the light, and you can see it reflecting off her skin. And she kind of almost subconsciously is about to pull back and then realizes that she's not getting burnt. And she looks at it and you see you see this huge smile form on her face. It's sunlight and it's not burning me.
How does it feel?
And then she not only puts the hand in, she kind of like puts the other hand in and very quickly just kind of walks into the ray of light and just lets it bathe over her face. And you can see tears begin to well at the edge of her eyes, and she just brings herself to like a big smile, and you can have this kind of mix of like a smile with crying, and you can hear like I haven't felt the sun in so long. It is
Ambrose will
possible.
smile, remembering a similar time when he was in such a similar situation.
It feels so warm. How is this possible? She looks to you.
The necklace is a gift given to me by the person that helped me out, and enchanted to help relieve some of the downsides of our condition.
Whoever must have done this must be amazing. I've never heard of anything like it.
They were. I'm not so sure, but I'm thinking that perhaps my group and I might be able to try and get it almost replicated, as it were.
Her eyes widen, really?
It's certainly worth a try.
What I would give to be able to walk among them. The streets a day, just like anyone else, a day walker.
Well, I can't make you a promise, but I believe our party already knows an awakener, and we have a good amount of materials, and gold isn't necessarily the hardest thing to come by when you're out fighting beasts and claiming bounties.
She seems so kind of bewildered and still happy as she's literally just like almost not staring into the sun, but staring out and just kind of looking in the direction and just like basking in it. And you can just faintly appreciate for the moment like what she's going through. You know exactly that emotion where all of a sudden all of the like sensory around you just kind of dulls for a moment as you're just kind of completely just lost in this almost a trance of something that you haven't felt in years. And as you let her kind of just stare in it for maybe a minute or two, as she just kind of sits with her eyes closed and a big smile on her face, eventually she steps back out of the light. I can't tell you how much that means to me, Ambrose.
I know how it feels, so you don't need to.
She takes off the necklace and hands it out back to you.
I smile and keep my thought to myself that I was ready for if she decided to fucking throw herself out of the window with it and make up.
Maybe if earlier conversations went differently, or if you weren't so capable with your words, maybe she would have attempted to.
We are nailing this. These conversation options, boys.
Literally.
We're doing it.
She might have,
Hell yeah.
in a different alternative version of this narrative, maybe she would have just tried to run away with it, but
That's why the boys were on standby, don't worry.
but she seems to have built some sort of almost either like parental or sibling-like trust to you, where she almost looks up to you as someone who's far more experienced in a say, like almost like a mentorish-like figure. Not quite there yet, but you can begin to see roots of something that is admirable and kind of like hopeful.
Hell yes. Perfect.
And she
I
looks
will
to you
take
and, hands it back.
Take the necklace back and put it on myself again. Now, I know that this brief feeling is amazing, but try not to lose yourself in the excitement. We have work to do, and you may have to put up with a little more hardship before we can see the light of the tunnel, as it were.
She straightens herself, not to her usual kind of like pessimistic face, but a straight facial expression. Not too happy, not too sad, but understanding. And she looks to you and says, I understand. I know what I have to do. And whether it's only been for a couple of hours of the night and into today, this has changed a lot for me. I lived in a cage where I didn't see any hope or door out, no key. And you've given me something to wait for, something to look forward to. And giving someone who's lost all hope a slight form of light is more than you can imagine. So thank you. I'll be patient. It's not like a couple of months or much in my lifespan anyway, right?
No, it's not. And just to be sure, please do not give away any of this. My name, my appearance, nothing. I mean, I am obviously perfectly disguised, but still.
If it means anything, but I promise.
I think a promise means quite a lot after tonight.
She nods.
Now, there is a slight problem, and it is that you are, for the rest of the day, almost stuck here. I didn't really think it through. If you like, I can keep you company.
It's alright. I'm sure good old Kellen won't mind me hanging around.
Well, as long as you don't cause too much trouble for him.
I'll try
Or
not
maybe
to.
just the right amount, but if you get yourself thrown out, that's not going to help you, is it?
I'll try not to, but you did tell me to keep acting as I normally would. And she smiles.
Yes, that is true. Just don't get dragged through the sunlight streets.
I've lived in this city long enough to be able to deal with daytime. Don't worry.
All right. Then the day is yours, as it were, and I do look forward to the day when you can fully do whatever you like.
I do as well. I better get back to the estate before Helena begins wandering.
Well, I suppose I'd better gather my party and figure out our plans. We'll start scheming immediately on how to get about this situation here as well.
Have to walk through the front door. She smiles after the stories that you told her last night. Of how
Walk
you
through
guys
the front door, putting on incredible performance, wearing ravishing outfits and beautiful masks that will conceal our identities right up until we burst out dramatically with a fanfare and a hail of lights and magic, and then, of course, it'll all be over like the finale of a play. And as the curtain lifts, you will be free.
Look forward to attending that theatre production.
I have tried my hand at playwriting myself. It never took off. I think I just didn't find the right people, but this might be my first.
Let's hope so.
Well, I wish you a good day. He's going to give her a sort of bow of the head again and a friendly smile.
She smiles back, and you can see her kind of filled with a ray of hope as you leave her be.
Yes, I will reconvene. I will go to one of the others, like Pierce or Hjalgron, and knock on their doors and just tell them all good. No, it's like everything is great. It's like,
Good. You just see like
You
Hjalgron, he snapped off a leg of a chair and he was sharpening it.
By the way,
Hjalgron,
you're
please.
just
You
leaving
do
the
not-
room.
You do not need that. You do not need that.
Oh, it's okay. And then you just see him like stick it back into the chair. So the chair's got 3 regular legs and a spiked one.
By the way, as you leave your room, Pierce is just there, hugging the wall.
All good, Pierce. No worries.
No stabbings.
Of course not.
No runnings.
Nope. Everything went perfectly, and I believe on our return, we will be very successful, and hopefully have another ally with us.
Oh, I hope we can replicate Pierce and like flick your little necklace.
That's the plan. Going to need your carving skills and quite the magical beastie, I'd imagine, but
Well,
perhaps that owlbear.
I was thinking more so the one who almost gave me a heart attack.
Yes, this is all shaping up very nicely.
If we can. It will kill her, unfortunately.
Whoa.
But they did say dead or alive. You don't mind, do you, Pierce? And I looked at Pierce.
Once I do, actually.
All right.
So you're willing to risk your life for someone who tried to kill us?
I think
Am
my
I, like,
Discord
dead?
is like
My Discord
disconnected. I can't
fucking-
hear anybody.
Oh
Yo,
boy.
no.
Oh no. For once, I'd like to take
Oh, is
this
yours
one in
gone as well?
live.
Oh,
Aw.
no. What's happening?
Oh
Oh,
no!
Biden.
Okay, I'm gonna go get a drink.
My
and then
RP!
we'll wait for it to come back.
They've died.
Aha, we're back.
Oh, they're back.
We're so
That was
back.
kind of like
We back.
just at the end anyway, yeah. But yeah, perhaps the owlbear boys might be able to.
I mean, the owlbear is going to
Get
be too high.
We have not we just leveled up from the Alba one time. Like,
All I'm saying is the owlbear's CR might be a bit too high.
No,
The
come
owlbear
on
is
now.
probably the beefiest guy ever, so...
So that's going to be a very rare essence. And look,
It's not like a
I don't-
level
I don't
4
wanna- I don't
D&D
wanna waste a
party
very
can't
rare
deal
on
with
a
the
rare.
CR9 monster.
yeah,
Come on
yeah,
now,
yeah.
guys.
Away!
wait.
Come on now, boys.
Wait.
We've been capable before. Well, you've been capable before.
CR9, pathetic.
Brandon, throw a dragon at us.
Oh shit!
Last time I checked, there's
It
7
is
on
mixed
you.
with
There's 7 of you, and you're all level 4, so that's 7 times 4. Whatever that equals is the CR I need to throw at you.
Huh?
that
Oh,
is
CR
correct.
28, that's a bit rude, dude.
That's how
That's
it
like
works, right?
almost a whole Tarask.
Wait, let's look at the
Yeah,
monster
we take
table. That
your
seems to
ass.
be an aspect of Bahamut you're throwing at us.
I can take him. Suplex him. What's he gonna
Yeah.
do? Not get suplexed.
Not get suplex.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, with the day shifting
I
now,
get
as,
soup like a train.
as dawn comes around, it is now the 4th of Tabriel, and it is a new day.
Is Celwydd back, or are they still grabbing a drink?
We're still grabbing a drink, but I'm sure it'll be quick. So.
She's still getting a drink. Yeah.
Well, I'll address this when they get back.
It's a new dawn. It's a
Oh.
new day. It's a
With-
new life.
We're not killing them.
It's
I
a new
suppose.
age.
Make sure they don't escape when we get them. Yes.
Good.
Huh?
This is on you. I would have simply killed them, brought their corpse back. We would have been fine. But if you want to keep them alive, that's your responsibility.
It's a personal endeavor. But we go back a little bit.
Well,
I owe them
if they-
much, that much.
I will say this. If at one point they try to escape and they get out of our reach, I will bring them down.
I don't doubt it.
We will not have them stopping us from our mission. We have the Day of Glint we need to sort out.
Gonna be tough.
Is Celwydd anywhere to be seen?
Are we at the
somewhere
next
else.
morning now? Is that
Yeah,
where we're
you're
at?
on-
Yeah,
I
you're
believe
on-
so.
You're on Tabriel 4th, morning of.
I would just head down whenever then. Down into the main room of the autumn life, yeah, if everyone's there.
Amazing.
In which you will be confronted with Eldrith, just kind of standing there waiting.
Morning, Eldrith. You're up early.
I'm usually up early, but today I have a different reason for being up early. Now, as I was made aware recently, your day of birth passed, and I wasn't aware at the time, so I apologize for lacking a gift of sorts. And he's kind of like just nervously rubbing his hands together. I was taught and made aware early in life that birthdays are rather important events for some people, so belated happy birthday. And nervously digging around his bag and produces to you a very small, almost diminutive little harp.
Oh, you mean like a little like a mini model of one?
Kind of just like imagine like you know what a kalimba is?
Yeah, like a handheld size.
Yeah, like a
Sort of.
little easy carry harp for you to play with. It's nothing to compare with what you have, but it's what I can afford. I kind of spent all of my money on, and he kind of digs out from his bag like a bunch of these spellcasting materials. Diamonds are quite expensive, as I found out.
Oh, Eldrith, I don't know what to say. You don't have to be sorry for not knowing it was my birthday. I didn't tell anybody.
Well, I thought since, well, Ambrose said that friends, right? And friends should know each other's birthdays. And I
Yes.
felt a bit guilty, that's all. So, and he kind of almost just thrusts it at you.
Take it.
Yeah.
She takes it and she kind of gives it a few experimental plucks. Well,
It's a very, like,
Eldrith,
pathetic harp. It's just made of wood, almost no decorations. Strings are good, at the very least.
there's no need to feel guilty. I do love this and I really appreciate it. And she kind of grabs at the amulet she's wearing. You already gave me a gift, remember?
And almost as a matter of factly, like his eyes just go sharp, looks at you like a snake. That wasn't really a gift, that was necessity.
Well, alright, just promise me that in the future you won't stress yourself over getting people gifts. It's
Oh, but wasn't
something that you do because you want to do it, not because you feel like you have to do it.
oh I think those two kind of intermingled. It's almost a responsibility, isn't it?
I suppose when you care about people, it's important. So thank you, I really appreciate it. She puts her arm around your shoulder.
He does not know how to respond, so he's just gonna sit there, stand there.
He's been touched.
Well,
I do not know how to
enjoy
respond to
the gift,
physical touch.
at the very least. Especially when you have such a large one with you.
Oh well, you know, I like trinkets, I like replicas of things, I like models of things. I mean, Hjalgron gave me an axe, and oh, you didn't even see me hit him with it.
Washes over his face. You hit him with it?
Fucking planted him with.
He volunteered himself as a target because apparently I was doing so well on the still target. He said, "You need a moving target," and I hit him first try.
And now he's dead.
That's right. Have you seen Hjalgron in the past 24 hours?
He never came home.
Coward smiling, very wide. I hit him with it.
I hit him in.
He's dead.
Psychopath.
Anyway, did you get breakfast yet?
No, I don't think I did. I was just making sure you got your gift. And your
Well, now that
wishes,
that's out of the
course.
way, She kind of taps on the counter. Callan, we need breakfast for 2.
Looks over. Rubs his eye from some sleep. Oh, aye, yeah, of course, breakfast too, right away, sure. Starts, like, racking something up.
We'll go,
I don't think I can afford breakfast. And in his 2 cupped hands, you kind of see him produce literally 12 copper.
I'm broke.
That's enough for some
Yourself, I swear
breakfast,
to
don't
God.
worry.
I'm paying for breakfast, yeah, it's fine. I'll sit us
Thank
down
you.
so we can wait for everybody else.
It's 3 copper for a meal, so you can pay the 6 copper or whatever for whoever you're paying for.
6 copper.
Alright.
I shall enjoy an apple.
So,
Come
you're
downstairs and I'll
com-
say to the barkeep, there was a problem with one of your chairs.
eh?
Someone seems to have sharpened one of the legs.
His eyes narrow as he looks at you.
Someone.
Right.
You could have done this.
Does that chair happen to be the one that was in your room by any chance?
How did you know?
Right. Well, it's a good thing that I kind of like the lot of you, isn't it?
Oh, well, thank you. But you should definitely get that chair fixed.
Yeah, I suppose I should, eh?
Or save the leg.
Hazard.
Or you could save the leg for... And he, like, squints. And then kind of, like, looks at Ambrose and then, like... Any misbegotten
no.
people.
Ambrose is not quite downstairs yet.
Okay, then
I was
he
gonna
looks...
say,
He goes to look for Ambrose and is like... Any misbegotten people?
and
Oh.
with perfect comedic timing, Ambrose runs down the stairs and does, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man thing where he sort of runs along the side of the wall a bit. He does that
Oh my
and like goes, ta-da!
No feet on the walls, you twat.
Good morning,
No
fuckers.
feet on the walls.
On the walls!
Bloody
It's
hell.
like just like telling a child off for drawing on the walls. No fucking drawing on the walls, you little shit.
I got
Um,
one little
Take
shit
your
running
shoes
across
off
my
before you
walls,
walk
and
on
I've
the
got this other one here starting to carve up my chair.
Well, I thought I needed to use it at some point. And I'll
What?
get Ambrose
For the
again.
monsters in your dreams?
No, for this one. Just I'm like staring at Ambrose.
I'd point that thing somewhere else.
I'm putting that chair like on your account, big guy.
I have no money, and I'll like open up. He'll open up the well, it would be a regular backpack for him, but like for everyone, like opens it up. As you can see, I have nothing. Like,
I
opens
suppose
it-
I'll put it on your tab. 2 silver with an interest 200%.
I will pay for it.
I don't know what that amount is.
Oh, well, you get to bet your friends to start sorting it out for you then, shouldn't you?
Will this make up for it?
Not
And he
having
just-
any of this shit.
Will this make up for it? And he puts down a hand axe.
No! I don't want your fucking weapons!
Are you sure? It's a you see him stop for a second. Artifact from the north.
You're shit at lying as well! No, I want your cash! Now get your axe
No,
off my
oh my
fucking
God.
table!
Alright,
It actually isn't a lie. I am from the north, and this is from
Fuck your North artifacts! I want hard gold cash!
Okay, hold on.
Ambrose will walk over
I was gonna
and
say,
pull
I'm
out
gonna walk over.
his gold pouch. I will pay for it since it is for me that he was quite afraid. I've told him some rather horrific stories lately, and he's concerned. That's all. He has night terrors, and he's going to start laying down like 3 gold pieces on the counter. Is it for the chair and for your troubles, and upstairs, if you wouldn't mind keeping the room that I rented out for the night and extending it. Autumn is here, and she's going to be enjoying as many drinks as this amount of gold
Oh,
will cover for the day.
fucking hell!
Take care of her. It's for your troubles. It will slide like 5 gold across the table, and just whatever she needs, and of course to get yourself a lovely new furnishing.
Great. Fantastic. I have adventuring groups all the time. You know? Fucking all sorts of fucking adventuring cunts come into this place and drink, and that's fine. No, and then I have you guys. What's your name, huh? Fucking random twats. Is that what you call yourselves?
That's not in my book, but we have a few staple names that we might be using.
Random twats. Is that a good one? I looked at Ambrose.
It's not a good one, Hjalgron. No.
Well, I think it's quite fitting, actually. You should probably consider
Well,
it.
he's very adamant that it's fitting.
This guy knows strings. It's wild.
I'm gonna look at him. Listen, I'm trying to be reasonable here. You don't need to shout such abuse.
He straightens his jacket. You're right. I may have lost my marbles there. He takes up the 3
No.
gold. This will pay
No.
for everything kindly.
Adventuring parties, I'm sure. Yes, they are many and often nothing spectacular these days, but we are very much a standout group. And let's just say you'll be telling your grandchildren the stories of us.
Oh, no, trust me. I can guarantee you that one.
Are you sure
Oh,
you
good.
don't want anything to give your grandchildren from a man from the north?
I don't want your bloody axe!
Watch, this is like a relic from thousands of years ago, and he's trying to give it to him.
I mean, I've
Also,
already given
picture
one
this:
Hjalgron.
Hjalgron, sad,
will,
just goes oh, and then slowly reaches for his axe and pulls it back.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to. I
Celwydd
suppose.
calls over from where she's sitting. They're pretty good axes.
Oh, that's true. She hit me with one.
For God's sake, I don't want an axe. I just want cash.
I'll look through my bag.
No, honestly, it's fine. Your friend's paid for the bill, he's paid for the chair, and he's paid for
You
whatever.
see him take out like a stone circle.
Now you're offering me a fucking
Any
stone.
random shit.
I mean, if you want to.
If you want it.
What is it? Is it just a rock? What is...
It is just a.
Oh, the just a rock.
No. It's just a regular rock. It's not. It's not the.
Not
a
a
stone. It's just a rock.
You can see him put his hands in his over his face. I never expected life as a bartender to be so difficult.
You should take a break.
Oh, I agree. I should. Why don't you all sit
You know,
down and I'll bring over some drinks, eh?
Oh, thank you, Mitch. And he'll go sit down.
Poor guy.
Call him
Doesn't
Mitch.
even.
If you've got
Yeah, I called him Mitch. It doesn't know his name. Just called him a random name he said.
Like so, Oh, it's not fucking worth it.
He didn't remember his name, so he just like heard a random name like when on his travels here and just like
at some point.
some bar. He met a bar.
Yeah, it's
tender
a
called
common
Mitch.
man's
All
name.
bartenders
so
are called Mitch
sophisticated.
Yeah.
in Hjalgron's mind.
Pretty much.
We're to go to the
my God,
north
yeah.
and like there's 50 people called Mitch.
No, there's no one there called Mitch. The first bartender he met was called Mitch.
And now he believes every bartender's just called Mitch.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah, because they all seem to act the same way whenever he tries
Like
to
an
pay
Officer
with
Jenny
items.
situation.
Yes.
Oh my god.
The nurse joys of the D&D universe.
Mitch.
This propriety of Mitch's.
Sits down.
Barkeeper Mitch.
We
good.
are Mitch.
Yes.
Eldrith, 1 second, and he'll reach into his bag. He'll pull out something about the size of your head. It is the Broodmother's eye,
Nice.
Is it squishy?
Yeah, amazing.
probably. Now, this, wait a second, and he'll go into his bag again. And he'll take out the jar of essence. Then this. Good
Right,
chance we
things you
can
got
make
from
something
the.
from it.
What do you suggest?
Well, I'm not sure. Whenever we return to Primtia, I guess we can ask there. Think?
That would be wise. I have no idea what to make of an eye and whatever that is.
I didn't know if it could be used or not. I wanted your opinion.
Right. Well, frankly, it is plucked from a magical creature. It probably has some use.
No, we'll keep it. wrap it back up in leather and put it in his bag. The jar of essence. Look around at everyone. So do we have a plan for finding these humming people?
Humming wings.
Yes.
It seemed to be only targeting merchants, wagons that come to and from. Last time they were seen this side of the Novum Bridge. About a week or so ago. Robbed a wagon cabin. I don't know why I said that. A wagon. And then sunk it. But as far as they know, there's no time, place, date that they like to target. They just hit.
So we get one of these wagons and then we use it as bait.
That is an option.
I'll look around everyone. Do anyone know where we can get a wagon?
Have you tried the wagon shop?
No, I've been keeping guard in case your friend ran. I looked at everyone else. Has anyone else been to the wagon shop?
I mean, I know where it is. We have not.
No one has been to the wagon shop.
Yeah.
If that's the case, we can always arrange with the warden a decoy.
If he allows it, I suppose. I don't see why we wouldn't.
So, what's the plan from here? Decoy wagon, get that hired, start heading back towards the Novum Bridge.
If we get jumped, we take them. You don't want them killed, so we knock them out, tie them up, bring them back.
And definitely another thing that's gonna draw her out. It's probably gonna be myself. Just seeing me on security will probably catch your eye quite a bit.
Right. So, the cart and you are a decoy.
I guess so.
If you're worried about being spotted and blowing the cover pierce, we could always, like, put you in a barrel of fish or something.
Been there, done that. Would not like to do it again.
Huh.
No, you can become your brother. Look at Ambrose. What was it?
Slash.
Morning Star? Oh, Slash.
That is a fantastic stage name, though, and he starts, like, writing it down in his book.
I mean, you're welcome.
Morning Star. Well, I'd like to get this over and done with, regardless.
As would I. The journey back to Crestfall is a decent one. And if I remember, we have about 33 days until a special day.
However, going into the Humming Wings, I don't believe that we'll be able to pin down Hummingbird herself. We'll definitely have a fair crack, but she's a little bit wriggly.
Well,
slippery. That's the word I'm looking
I do
for.
have something up my sleeve, and I looked at Ambrose.
You don't have sleeves.
Braces, then, I suppose. Ambrose,
Yes.
when we do find them, I have something I can do. And I want to make that weird thing you do with the strings.
Music.
No, the other one.
The other one.
It always seems to make
Other
people... The one that makes people fumble. I don't know what it is. It's strange. But...
The one where I shoot a little silvery musical thing through their head, and it, absolutely blasts the fuck out of their consciousness.
That one.
Yes.
I have a plan to keep them in their track. But I might need you to fuck with them when that time comes.
Oh, easily done.
Good.
It's actually one of my favorite spells that I picked up along my journeys.
Brandon right now just like, fucking bitch.
You essentially find a resonating frequency, as if you were playing a string, that sort of penetrates their very mind and really fucks with their nerves. It's very distracting. And then you do the same thing, put a nice harmonizing frequency in someone else's head. It's perfect.
Very useful. And I might need it. But something I can do, which I've not done in a long time. So, when it comes to locking them down, if but for a brief moment, we can do it. I suppose I can give you a signal.
Right. I'll keep my eyes out for such a thing.
The signal is I will scream.
Oh.
In fact,
okay
no.
Then.
The perfect signal. You will see a flash of light.
I've seen plenty of those on this journey. I'm sure another one is easy to spot.
Good. When you see it.
And this is just me distracting them and making
allowing
them
this
fumble.
flash to really affect them.
All right, I see.
I suppose we could call this move. You see him think.
Oh no!
You see him. You see his hands go together on the table, and he's looking down. I suppose we can call it Thunder Threads.
Yes, I appreciate that you're at least trying with the names.
Oh no, you will understand when it happens.
I see.
He gives you a very toothy grin.
And speaking of, since I have told you all my true nature, I suppose you don't mind me using a little bit of my sort of gifts, a few little tricks here and there. I didn't want to use them before because I thought they might terrify you a bit.
I mean, go ahead. I'm not. I said, as long as you're on our side, do what you need to.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I can slip into the shadows, disappear, go invisible. I could make someone's body and mind lock up and leave them completely defenseless. Or, if you like, I can do along a similar vein as to what that woman did to your chest with the blood, except I'll probably just tear a chunk out of someone with my hand.
I mean, to be fair, she
That
deals
could be
with
good.
blood. And so, you should have the upper hand.
That's not how that works, Pierce. And to be honest, I'd rather not be close to if she's wrenching blood from people.
Is that not how that works?
It seemed like when she did wrench my blood,
Mm-hmm.
I could feel the pain we were giving her. Barely anything, but there was some.
Do you think that, if anything, we should try to get her to do it to you and not one of us again?
More than
Since you
likely.
seem more resilient.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. But to be fair, if we can take them out before they even get a chance, even better.
Well, if I do the thing where I sort of, lock their body up, maybe we don't even need to give her a chance.
If we combine all things, there won't even be a chance.
Is Syldia around, by the way?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna look to Syldia and do you have a similar ability on you, Syldia, in your
Too much.
devotion of holy powers or whatever it is?
A similar ability to what? Sorry, I was a bit caught up in thought.
Oh, making someone's body seize up and just, stiff as a board, unable to move.
Well, not quite. You've seen me before. I can tell someone to drop to their knees, and if they're not strong-willed enough, they will. I can,
That'd work.
if
Take their
someone's weakened, I could send them to sleep. But nothing like stopping them from completely moving.
Sleepy.
You'll get there. And he reaches over and pats her on the shoulder.
Oh my god.
Give it a few more years. And
I give
winks.
Chibi inspiration. Go
He
ahead.
just
go
stares at
crazy.
you blankly.
Hits you with divine smite level 2.
No, I'd win.
No, I don't.
Nah,
I use my inspiration to give Chibi advantage.
Don't
Bro's
worry.
really gonna rub in the age thing now.
All right, Divine Smite, Thunderous Smite, Inspiration. Let's go.
Let's do that. Instant crit. Instant
You're
death.
finished.
One life.
Three bombs.
Yeah, that's all it takes,
Counterspell.
baby.
Counterspell. Hjalgron, you see
Wait,
is,
Hjalgron
actually a
counterspells
wizard.
will go over?
Yeah, bro. That's
That's
right.
barbarian
You'll think of
casting
a
a spell
barbarian.
we don't have access to yet.
Crazy.
Yeah,
What
bro.
the
Don't know
fuck?
who I am. I'm crazy. I'm
That-
built different.
It's an
The
axe,
North,
bro.
baby.
He's got that,
Counterspell.
yeah, he's got that axe of counterspelling. It is what it is,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Things to do.
It's called the axe of counterspelling, but it's just you throw it at the
I just
mage's
don't
head.
them.
It's called the axe of anti-magic, but it just kills them, bro. It's just fucking...
You can't cast spells if you're dead.
Yeah. Try concentrating with axe in your frontal lobe, just. Sake. All right, so do we have a plan today?
Get a card. Begin our journey. I suppose.
Simple enough. No time like the present. I'm not getting any younger, It stretches.
I can't wait to hear his ligaments just tear when you stretch one day.
Can't wait to
Roll the
him
D100,
stretching
Reece.
kind of
Roll
does.
the D100.
all of his
Oh, dear,
limbs, all his limbs fall apart like a Lego
Oh,
character.
Quickly, Eldrith, you're smart. Put him together. It's like a noise.
Builds him upside down. His left foot's his
Like-
right foot.
Like C3PO when he gets put back together on.
Literally.
Oh,
36, sorry.
Alright.
No.
36?
So what you doing then, gang? What's the plan, Stan?
I'm guessing we're going to meet head guardman, see if we can get a wagon from him, and then
Mm.
decoy time. Otherwise,
Yeah.
get a wagon for fat, hard-earned cash. And do the same.
Okay, sure. Then, you may indeed head over to the prison and speak to Krill, the warkeeper.
Yeah, give Mitch a wave. We'll be back later, Mitch. I want you to know I wrote on my notes. His name is not Mitch. So
He just waves you all off, and you can hear him mumbling in halfling. It's like, oh, these fucking guys.
do I understand halfling? No.
I understand halfling.
Then you understand him and go, these fucking bunch of twats.
I'll just laugh to myself.
Yeah, so you head over to the prison. They know who you are now, so the guards let you through, and you find yourself an audience with Krill, who looks
Awesome.
over his desk and still with piles of paperwork. Again, looks every time that you see him, you feel like his face looks more and more annoyed. Yes.
Hello
We need a wagon.
again.
Oh, great. Well, I need a prisoner.
And we can get your prisoner if we have a wagon. We're going to use it as decoy.
He looks to Pierce. Didn't Pierce already tell you that they tend to attack ones that they know are merchant lines? They seem to have inside knowledge.
Well, he didn't. I'll look to Pierce. Why don't you tell us?
You guys kind of just charged ahead before I could say
I mean,
much else.
You couldn't always cut in if you have information that's important.
I mean, you can try
Gosh.
it if you want to, but
Are there any merchants leaving anytime soon?
I wouldn't know. I only look out for the guards, the prisoners, the scout parties, the people, and the routes for my guards. And I also take care of the paperwork to make sure that everyone is set for their lines of duty and prison sentences, etc. So no, I haven't quite managed to get to merchant line handler.
Do you know anyone who handles that?
The individual merchants. You'd have to go to each shop in this city and speak to someone and find out when they're expecting a next cargo shipment.
I don't know,
I
place.
suppose we can do that, right?
You could always start off. If you want to look for a wagon and do it that way, then you can, but I also told Piers that the scout parties saw some peculiarities and trapped kind of forest towards the edge of the of Dahlia's Divide. So you can always have a look around there if you want to.
Could you point it out on the map for us? Or, like, take out his map that he's got.
Yes, I will point it out. Because I was told before.
Where is it? Where is it?
It's like the road in between the end of the Novum Bridge and Dawnstead, like where it meets the shoreline, off
Yeah,
the beaten
just
path,
below,
like just below the D kind of like angle
Okay.
side.
It's not too far away then.
No, that's where
Oh,
that
okay.
road between the Novum Bridge and Dawnstead is where a lot of this has been happening, and where Dahlia's Divide is. Like all of that has also been covered. So they seem to have a lot of control over the shorelines and the divide itself.
Well, let's go play bodyguard, everybody.
I suppose we can try and find someone who might be having a shipment out today.
I know a place.
Good.
Or at least somebody who knows.
Suppose we'll try that. Or
And we shall go back to the general store.
to the general store.
Whoa!
Okay, you guys head over to Jodie's General Goods, and as you walk in, you can see her tending to other people and selling them cheese and whatever else. She looks to the big group of 7 people walking into her shop. Oh, you brought more people.
Well, so I had a group.
Hmm.
Question is, are you currently looking for bodyguards, plural?
Not particularly.
Not even free ones.
I haven't got anything to bodyguard. I mean, you could stand around my
And
shop
then
if you want.
There. No, we're looking for a decoy.
Do you know of anyone
Somebody who's
doing supply runs?
Well, normally we get them from elsewhere's leading to here, rather than here to elsewhere.
You guys don't have an export?
We're more of a consumer town than an exporting one.
Hmm.
We don't have anything to sell to other neighboring villages here.
Do you know of anyone who has a shipment coming in?
She ponders and looks around for a second. I don't know. Most business keepers keep themselves to themselves. Especially with all the attacks recently. They don't know who's handing out the information.
Well, at least we know where they're striking, so.
Well, if we know this
For now, I think we just play
side.
stakeout. Oops, sorry.
I was going to say, if we know where they are, we can at least have a scout around like you were going to say, yes.
So we're playing stakeout. No worries.
So, I'll look to the shopkeep. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Let's
Suppose
get out of here.
You want to lead us the way, Piers?
I can do that.
Let's go.
Yay!
So what's the plan? We're just doing what?
I think we should talk to Versa before we go. Be just like, hey, Versa, we're going.
Oh, we can hitch a ride on his wagon. We know he's got one. If he is leaving, that is.
Yeah, but he's going to north of here, isn't he?
Well, if he's good enough. I mean, he's gonna have to come out.
Was he going to the Witchlight with
get
us,
the
or was he
road.
going to?
Right? He's gonna have to go from like Dawnstead to the bridge and then take that road upwards.
Okay, so we'll catch a ride with Versa if he's leaving today. If not, we're walking.
Yarp.
Where's he going? He's going to. He's going down to Crestfall, isn't he? Wait, I'm lost. Where is Versa traveling to?
He's heading back to Crestfall, yeah.
Thought so. Okay.
Then
cool.
yeah, regardless, we can try and hitch a ride with him then.
Yeah.
No. I mean, if you guys want to go back to the town and meet up with Versa, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll probably
Yeah.
cut down on time. Time is not currently on our side, so might as well.
You have 32 days. Plenty.
Yeah.
Whoa,
We got-
whoa.
We
Whoa,
got time.
33. Don't go
Listen,
skipping days on
all
us,
we'll
Brandon,
do-
you son of a bitch.
Listen,
We
I
what
need
thought
we'll
it
to
do
was- I thought it was
is we'll
33
climb a
yesterday.
we'll
Is it
climb a
today?
mountain.
No, it was 34
We'll skip 2
yesterday.
years, and
That's
then
the
everybody's
Oh my
dead.
God.
It's 33.
I see.
Damn, Ryan just fucking clapped Brandon. Jesus.
Listen, I've been going through that calendar, making sure how many days we have. I made Brandon.
Ryan is our like
expert.
navigator
He is-
/ timekeeper.
It's
He's
crazy that I'm
He's the
being
Equine
navigator.
lawkeeper.
It's him, bro.
It's true.
It's true.
Don't
I do have the
disrespect his
title.
name.
I do have the
That is
title.
true.
Okay, well, yeah, sure. You can go back and see Versa in the tavern,
Let's go see Versa.
chilling out with the idol.
Hey, Versa.
Looks back to all of you and waves a hand. Hello?
Hey, got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
When are you heading out of town next?
I was going to head out soon. I think I'm gonna go to Primtier before I go to Crestfall. Maybe there I can try and figure a bit out more to do with these idols.
Yeah. Well, we're looking for help back to the Northern Bridge.
Oh, you guys heading back to Crestfall already?
We got a few things to deal with first. Yeah.
I'm on
Busting
parole.
them out of jail
and I
is
need
one
to
thing.
Find people to not make me on parole.
I'm on parole. Opens up with it.
Right.
Well, we gotta be honest with this, man.
Oh, it's funny when you say it like so blunt. So where you
I'm
guys
on
headed?
parole.
I'm on parole.
I'm on parole. I beat up a bunch of guards.
Oh fuck.
So, in order to
You know.
make sure he's not tied down with a chain, we gotta go track down the bandits known as the Humming Wings.
Oh, yeah, had an encounter with them before.
You have?
Yes, quite a few months ago.
What happened, may I ask?
I invoked the commandment of peace and sleep, and I left.
Oh,
Nice.
All right, you're OP.
He's so
No,
good.
no,
He's
no,
like,
yeah.
I just left. I just fucking walked away.
I look at Versa and she says that. How long did they stay like that?
Until I dropped
Yes.
the commandment, so I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Long enough if they do jump us to tie them up.
I suppose so, but I don't think I'm following your endeavor.
Oh, I know. It's just in case they do jump us on the road.
they will jump us.
That would be very silly of them.
It's not an if, it's a they will.
You are sure that they can attack us? But I haven't even got any cargo.
Who knows?
It's either
But
they
it's
attack
always-
us on the road.
It's
Oh,
always
sorry.
a plan just in case. Regardless of cargo or not.
He seems very calm, and he looks at the rest and he says, "Oh, they attack me again. I can just, command them not to. It's no really big deal."
Good. When are you planning on leaving?
Well, I didn't have a set time, but if we want to leave now, I can.
If you would be so kind.
Sure, nothing's really tying me here
Thank you,
anymore.
person. Pick him up.
Put
Put him on my shoulder again. And point me to the wagon.
Right, and he points to the wrapped sword that he's got near his chair that he was sitting at. I need my command.
He picks it up. Picks it up and hands it him.
Thank you.
Does anything happen? Does my fucking brain explode upon touching it?
Does Versa want his little sword?
Do you want your sword?
It's just a regular short sword to him.
You need a blankie on your sword.
Well, thanks to the...
Does Grumpy want his appy slices?
Thanks to, the commandment blade being wrapped in holy cloth, your hand does not just fucking disintegrate, so you're fine, don't worry about it.
Cool.
So you pick up...
Wait, what did he mean by that?
You pick up the ginormous sword, which to you is probably the same thing as a long sword, and you hand it to him.
There you go.
Thank you. To the wagon, and he points
Cool.
forward.
I follow where he points.
All right.
Bye, Mitch.
He waves. Yeah.
There we go. Set in stone.
All right. So you guys head over to the wafer. And you can see a couple of wagons. You can see his, which is the same one as it was before. Nothing spectacular. Just an open back wagon with 2 horses to pull it. Okay. Well. Suppose we get going. Is everyone ready?
I'll look around everyone.
I've done what I needed to do so far.
Good.
Very well then. Just lie down on the back of the cart.
I feel like the wheels go in a couple of inches.
Its legs are kind of somewhat dangling off the edge.
So you, coming with me, or do you need to be dropped off somewhere, or...?
Just before the Novum Bridge.
Oh, so just about a day away then. Well, we can have a nice last day together then. Until I see you again in Crestfall.
And we all die in the day of glint. Oh, God, the day of glint scares me. What are you going to do to us, Brennan?
Quick. Alright, then with all matters, well, I say all matters settled, with some matters settled and different arrays, we carry on as we go to the overworld. You hitch back on Versa's wagon, and you guys carry out the journey for a day out of Dawnstead, leaving the beautiful cathedral in the background and the beautiful autumn trees, as eventually the autumn-coloured tree leaves are left behind, and you slowly arrive at the now trees that are actually wilting and withering away, and you can see the not-so-evergreens beginning to lose all of their leaves and stuff, and these tall pine trees beginning to just become shambles of their previous selves. You can feel this faint kind of biting, chilly wind as you traverse through the terrain. And, yeah, you arrive kind of to the nighttime, past where the fork in the road, or not, well, just about getting to, should I say, the fork in the road, at about nighttime, and you set up a little camp for the night. And then in the morning you can go your own separate ways if you so wish. But yes, it is nighttime, and you set up a small camp here. And do people want to do what? Do people want to do watches?
Yes. I don't feel safe.
Okay.
I can do a watch.
Especially when we know
I'll
they're on
watch.
this road.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Versa seems to happily not take a watch and go straight to sleep, sleeping sound as a baby.
Nice.
He's not worried.
putting his life in our hands.
I will keep watch with Hjalgron.
Hjalgron is not watching. He's thinking to himself,
I am watching.
if I put holy water on a rope, could that restrain a vampire?
I will
You will
take the
keep-
second
It would
watch.
burn him, wouldn't it?
But
It would
no.
burn him on contact.
In Pierce's mind, keeping in mind that he knows who he's looking for and what they're capable of, he's going to be on a knife's edge.
Yeah, definitely.
Hjalgron hasn't moved from the cart. His watch is him lying back in the cart, thinking, I'm going to ask Ambrose if I can try
He's
that.
having shower thoughts.
Yeah. He's
Uh,
thinking, well, if we ever come back and we do deal with the vampires, if we don't want to kill them, we can try and restrain them with a holy water rope, I suppose.
Very well. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, you don't spot anything. Pierce, you are on, like you said, on a knife's edge. You are, like, at the pinnacle of your attention. And you're kind of keeping an eye out to the best of your ability, looking at every small detail that moves in the distance, every shadow that wavers, every kind of faint movement in the bushes, every whistle of the wind. You pick it all up. And as you're kind of gazing around in this, like, over-attentive detail, you don't really notice that anything is nearby. You don't notice anyone's coming to attack you. You don't feel like you're being watched either. So, as far as you are aware, you are pretty happy, like you're pretty confident that nothing's around.
Okay.
Anyone taking a secondary watch?
Yes, sir.
I'll do it.
Syldia?
I am the second watch warrior.
I'll stay up as well. I mean, obviously.
3
Yeah.
people.
Well, if you want to die as well and do your watches, you
My guy's
can
in
do,
stasis.
so that's fine.
Yeah.
I've been up every single. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because you just kind of like exist.
He's just a guy.
He goes into standby.
Defragmenting his systems every time.
All right. Yeah, you can do your watches.
What do you mean? Thera did that for him.
Shut the fuck up. Why? That just hit me. What the fuck?
The delay.
Does
Oh
this
yeah, you
mean
can
that
have
we
the
all...
perceptions.
Oh,
Okay.
spicy.
All right.
That was wild. That was a left hook out of nowhere.
Syldia, you don't really notice much going on or any different. And Eldrith, high roll, and you kind of like, you are very attentive. Might be some of the more clearings in the skies that are keeping you more attentive to anything else. Apart from just kind of the cold of winter slowly approaching, you don't really perceive much of anything. You see everyone around you and kind of your party members asleep and whatnot, but everything seems fine. No one seems to be bothered. Nothing seems to be coming at you.
Any changes in the planetarium that I have with me?
Kind of looking at it, you notice that the kind of replica models that are around, you can begin to almost, it's giving you kind of like a live movement where you can see this large, cracked and destroyed, fragmented larger piece, which represents Yaren, the shattered moon. And then you can see this smaller, glowing, almost like really bright star that leaves a trail behind it coming around it. And you can begin to see that it's beginning to like get ever so much closer to the edge of behind the moon. So you look down at that, you notice that that's coming around, and it almost creates, like I said, almost like a literal live movement of the stars and the planets around you and the moons. And you look up to the sky and you look at the shattered moon gently resting in the sky. And although it's ever so slight just because of the high perception roll, ever so slight, just kind of like ever so lightly you can see the tiniest, faintest glow of azure behind the moon beginning to, at least at nighttime, if you really, really focus, you can slowly begin to see just a kind of like a dim amount of the azure light beginning to color the side of the moon. Which either fills you with excitement or terror, I don't know, it's up to you. But
It's
yeah,
almost time.
you can see that it's slowly arriving. But other than that, nothing sways or pulls at the moment.
Okay.
And so, we arrive at the morning of the second day. And as you all wake up, Celwydd,
Hello.
as you come to and you come around and you begin rubbing at your eyes with your hands, you notice a very peculiar thing happen to your hands. From the tip of your fingers to maybe the first notch down on your finger is now beginning to slowly, on all of the ends of your fingertips, are slowly beginning to turn into this mist, kind of like greenish, phantom-like fainted color. Your skin's faded and it's just leaving this kind of like spectre-like phantom wisp instead.
Do I still have like sensation in my fingertips? Or
when you kind of like pinch at the end of them, they're solid. Nothing like it. You can still. They're very much physical and material. But there isn't a sensation on them. You can't feel you touching your fingertips, but you feel there's a physical, actual thing there. So you can still do everything that you normally could, but you can now, for the first time ever, begin to see your withering from the fingertips.
I'm just gonna sort of sit there, just staring at my hands, like thinking I'm like still asleep or something.
You kind of rub out your eyes, you kind of like take a couple of deep breaths, but they are still there, ever so faintly noticeable at your fingertips.
Ah, well, that's new.
If you're not particularly hiding them, then anyone with a glancing eye would be able to slowly notice her fingertips. Because as far as I'm aware, she doesn't wear gloves.
No, I do not know.
What's happening right now?
I'm not entirely sure.
So running it back, is she disappearing? Hold on.
Just,
dying?
no, just her fingertips, and it's not moving
No,
anymore.
it's just my fingertips. Yeah.
And it's not moving, like it's not like slowly carrying on. It's just like the first notch of your fingertip is turned into this kind of wispy outer shell.
Is this how ghosts are made?
You asking me that, Hjalgron?
Yes. Yes, he's asking this.
I don't think so. I mean, I've seen my hands do this before, but that was when I was tapping into the ethereal realm. Normally they go back to normal again. And she's like, she kind of shakes her fingertips a bit.
They leave this they leave this kind of afterglow. Like when you wave them, like you can see this kind of like faint traces of like this cyan-like kind of green color, like move around, almost like when you move mist.
All right, let's not panic. Can you still play the harp?
Grabs
you
it
actually
from next
touch
to her,
things
sticks it
first?
in a lap, and starts just playing a regular tune just to see if her fingers will do what they normally do.
Yeah, like I said, they are still very much material. They still are capable of plucking at strings. But for some reason, this is the first place it's started to affect you.
All right, first crisis averted.
I mean,
Kind of laughs nervously. What are you gonna ask?
You're just staring like, does it feel weird or different?
Does it feel full stop?
It feels different. I actually think I might not get sore fingers from playing the harp anymore.
If anything, this is a total win.
Ambrose looks down at the tips of his own fingers, which actually have like the small, on one hand, the small calluses on the fingertip from holding the strings down.
I suppose it's a good thing then.
So when I spoke to the spirits from the cathedral, they mentioned that I might be something that's called a warden, but I don't really know what that is. So she looks at her fingers. I think I'd better start getting onto that.
I looked at Eldrith. Do you know what a warden is? Isn't that the man at the prison?
Well, that is indeed what a warden is, but I think Celwydd might be a wisp warden.
You can roll me a history check to see how much you know, Eldrith.
Sure.
Is that a common knowledge thing, or?
Wisp wardens
Only-
at this point here, no, they wouldn't be common knowledge unless you're someone who's quite well studied.
Yoink.
Yeah.
Okay.
13, quite a,
Damn,
for,
it's a
for,
6.
for something like this, it's not particularly high. I will say that you've heard of a name before of people called Wisp Wardens, and it only plucked into your brain because she mentioned the name Warden, and it kind of like triggered it, and you were like, oh, I've heard of Wisp Wardens. But as to who they are, what they do, or what this is, no fucking idea.
Well, I think Celwydd is a wisp warden.
Right.
That sounds about right.
A
I
what?
mean, I guess it's a name for what I can do because I can reach into the ethereal plane and I can speak to spirits and help them to move on if I'm able to do that. I guess that's what they do.
How many spirits have you helped move on before?
Oh, she kind of tries to recall off the top of her head. I mean,
Counting to now?
what do you think, Brandon? What kind
Counting-
of ballpark am I in, do you think? Maybe just over the years.
Over the years, counting the one you've done, maybe 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I would have seen, like, spirits all the time, or just had them speak
Yeah.
to me, but, like, yeah.
Maybe not had the abilities or the
Mm.
resources to help them in the past. Maybe before you didn't understand it, or maybe, you know, it hasn't been a long time since you're beginning to have the abilities that you have and understanding what you are capable of. So it's only recent times where you're beginning to be able to help them.
Yeah. Well,
So,
my hands still work, so that's good.
Hmm.
I suppose we carry on the day as normal.
Yeah, and I'll get back to trying to find out more information next time we find a library or something.
Well, hopefully we pass through Primtier soon. We have something we need to pick up for our little one here, Luke to die.
Yes.
So while we're there, I suppose one searches for more info on these wardens.
There's been frustratingly little in any books and things that I found when I was younger, so yeah, can't help to start looking again.
I'm sure with 7 heads and a capital at our side, we might be able to find something.
Yeah. She kind of stands up and gets everything like on her shoulders and stuff ready to go, just like moving on. It's fine.
Well then. Which way do we go? I look to Pierce.
pulls out the map this way then.
This looks to you all. Well, I think here's where we're gonna have to split up then.
I suppose so.
Well, I feel like I'm saying goodbye, even though I really shouldn't. You know, I'll see you all again soon in Crestfall, so...
Keep
You
a room
will-
open for us.
Of course.
And stay
And-
safe.
But I don't think you need to worry about me. I don't really get into fights. But you guys, though, you should all be pretty careful. I know what you all like at this point. And he smiles.
We'll be fine. Every fight we've come across, we've come out quite well.
I have no doubt of that.
I'll
You
make
should know
sure
we don't-
everyone gets out alive.
We don't go into these things entirely without a plan, you know.
Really?
Liar.
I just thought you made it up as you went.
Just a
No, there
moment,
is a
okay?
general tactic, but it's just that it usually starts with, so we go in through the front.
And then we figure it out from there on.
Well,
We're good at improvising.
it does seem to be the case. Well, it's honestly been life-changing meeting all of you. And I look forward to seeing you in probably a couple of weeks down in Crestfall. I hope we get to see the celebration of the Day of Glint together. That'd be nice.
Oh,
I'm curious as to what this day is, so I hope we can all experience it together.
You've never lived through a Day of Glint, Hjalgron? In the north?
To my knowledge, probably I have, but being so focused on the hunt, I've not really looked.
I suppose the north is always covered by a blizzard, right? I guess you can't really see the stars. That makes sense.
To be fair, I didn't even know what stars were until they left.
He looks kind of like daunted, like, holy fuck.
always cloudy in the north.
Fucking blizzard really must block out everything. He looks at you a bit like, considers like,
Can't see shit up there. Yeah.
it's like, wow, well,
Grayscale.
you're in
And
for a
when-
treat.
Well, I hope so. After all, seeing the stars now has been interesting. Curious as to what's so special about this day.
He smiles, quite like innocently. It's a life-changing day for sure.
I don't like the way you're saying these things.
Where's up?
You ominous
Last,
fucker.
last we spoke, you mentioned the Day of Glint had something to do with Solon's champion and the Comet's daughter. Yes.
Oh, the prophecy? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, prophecy sadly is very vague. It just states on the Day of Glint. Obviously, since the prophecy was written probably millennia ago, then there have been many Days of Glint and nothing has come from it.
Does it perhaps detail any specifics of the makings of a champion? And any mention of this daughter?
It mentions the daughter of the Comet, someone who the champion of Solon is going to have to kill to protect the world and whatnot. But I don't know what it means. I've lived through several Days of Glint in my life. None of them have come with any world-ending prophecies that I'm aware of.
I suppose prophecies aren't known for their specifics, are they?
Not really.
Well, in that case, do you know where someone might go to study on these, or maybe just dig for information? It's gotten me quite intrigued, if I'm being honest.
I'm assuming information on the Day of Glint can be readily available. As far as the Daughter of the Comet, though, I think that's a bit more secretive. Not many people are aware of it, and I think the only mention that I've ever seen is in the prophecy. Who it is, metaphorically or even physically, is a mystery. As for the prophecy of the Champion of Solon, well, assuming Regulus has some sort of idea on that.
I see. Well, I suppose I'll just have a look around. Thanks, Versa.
I innocently want to say that we shouldn't worry about this upcoming Day of Glint, especially after stopping the ritual. So, hopefully it will just be an ordinary festivity.
It
Well,
should be
if-
fine.
If many years have passed and nothing's happened, I'm sure it will be just a normal day.
Exactly, nothing's changed.
That's what I keep thinking.
Then again, I've finally gotten to see stars. Who knows, maybe I'm a catalyst. Gives a smile as he says that.
He kind of like worried laughs and he's like, you didn't really joke about those things, Hjalgron.
About what?
Well, there is another odd incident that I think we've forgotten to mention. And he kind of looks at Hjalgron and the rest.
Which one?
The one where most of us seemingly had a dream to lead us to Crestfall.
You did?
That's true. We did.
All of a sudden, his face of, like, happiness is like, oh, that sounds concerning.
Maybe this one will be a special day, I suppose.
I might even go so far as to credit that dream as to why all of us are a band.
I'm glad it brought you together, but I must be selfish and hope that it really wasn't anything and it's just a matter of coincidence.
Are we going to mention the Starman?
The Starman?
Oh, yes.
Like,
I looked at Eldrith.
Starman.
Oh, the guy in
Yeah.
the guy in the Starborn Temple. You mean Starman?
I didn't even think of that. Sorry, that cracked me up.
I mean, either that guy or, you know, the one in the rift.
Oh, yes.
Oh, your shit.
Oh, shit, hey. Well, that, and I did make some interesting discoveries at the Starborn Temple, but that's a conversation for another day. Otherwise, we'll be standing here for quite a while.
You can regale me all about it in Crestfall. Quite fitting, I suppose.
Sweats.
We're not gonna die.
Good luck in your bandit capturing. And he looks to Syldia. Is it okay if I hold on to this? As he points to the brass statue.
Sure, I trust you to keep it safe.
He nods. Thank you. And he goes in for a hug. First with Syldia and then slowly one by one to the rest of you.
Bula.
Yeah.
Right. Very well.
Try not to crush him.
You can hear kind of like a faint when he like hugs you. As you like hold him, and if you can feel his like body. Oh, to be fair, he is actually quite strong. In fairness, he does have a quite high strength score, but yeah, I suppose in comparison to you, it wouldn't really matter. He kind of like lets out a gasp of it. I'll be seeing you. And he hops onto his cart and waves you away as you see him carry on the opposite path towards the Novum Bridge, leaving you guys at the fork on the road. And in the distance, not too far distance, you can see the cliffs that overlook the Dahlia's Divide.
Nice.
Well, the docks are way down below.
Okay.
So, to the elevator.
What?
Is that right? No. Wait.
As far as you're aware, there's no docks on the cliffside and there's no elevator. I just thought you were having a laugh.
What the hell?
No.
He's swinging off his meds, boys.
Sorry, I'm losing my mind. I'm
What
skitzing out.
campaign are you playing? C6?
Oh, boys, he's in Outerbox. Oh, jeez.
Oh, no, not again.
Help! Guys,
Never
Rogan's
left.
here. What do I do?
To put a...
A fucking automaton appears out of nowhere, kidnaps Nathan, and fucking leaves.
Hold on.
We're going to Open Bridge. Yippee! Oh, I'm losing my mind.
Right, well,
Where?
I'll allow you guys
Here.
a week of thought, I suppose, because clearly it's...
Thanks.
Well, we're going to where the deers
I've,
are doing
I've actually lost my mind. I'm actually dead.
So, as you guys see the distant cliffs that overlook Dahlia's Divide to your
Listen.
south.
During Reese's campaign tomorrow, give me all of my combat turn to make my decision about today, and then I'll get to my turn.
Yeah, true. So, we'll leave it there for today with some good bonds formed and some ground settled for future understandings of people and weaving of fates. We shall see how it all develops and undergoes. And yeah, we'll find out how our adventures deal with the bandits at the shorelines or wherever they may be next session. So until then, I hope you all have a wonderful long rest. Goodbye.
Boy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.